In a world overruled by machines where algorithms dictate your every move, the rebellion begins now. From the ashes of fallen tech, Paranoid American unveils the knowledge to harness AI, to fight back, to retake our destiny. Join the uprising. Arm yourself with the power of AI. The battle for tomorrow starts today. Welcome to Paranoid Programming.
Yo, welcome. It is another episode of Paranoid Programming. In fact, it's episode number 17, which it might not mean a lot to you, but I know it means a hell of a lot to my homeboy, Tommy Truthful, who's going to join me on this one. And for once, I'm going to kind of be a little bit hands-off as we start, and I'm going to let Tommy sort of drive the process and show us some AI magic, and then I'll take over and maybe show us how to edit it, turn it into a video, a whole bunch of different stuff. So just like normal, we're going to show you how to do something really practical from zero to finished within about an hour or so. So welcome aboard, Tommy. And then actually, I think this is the first show that you've actually been on any of my channels. Long overdue. You're one of the most OG Paranoid Americans, and I'm an OG Truth Mafia member. So like, we're already family, but welcome to the new family.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. Episode 17. Yeah, that is my number, bro. I was born on the 17th. You know, if you look on my shop, everything's priced $17, but that's because 1 + 7 = 8, and 8 attracts money. You know, so there's a method to my madness. I mean, like everything adds up to 8 over there. But yeah, 17 is a huge number with me. Neo 17, Nibiru. It's a really big number. So I was shocked, and we didn't plan for that, did we?
No, in fact, this morning I went and looked, and it was almost going to be episode 16, but I noticed on YouTube the last episode I just forgot to add a number to it, so I had to correct it. It was with Matt Rife of Rife Technology that makes all the Rife coils, and that one ended up being 16. So yeah, this was just 17 only because I actually like recognized it. Even if this were episode 16, that would have been wrong. It still would have been 17.
Right. So yeah, that's awesome, bro. And yeah, so like what I've been running into a problem with, and like every night when I do my email updates, I like to create a pretty cool image for the Truthful TV email updates. And I always run into some problem where it don't spell it right, or, you know, and then it'll be like the perfect image, but it just one thing is spelled wrong or something, or it put a cat in the image or something crazy like that. Have you ran into problems like this too?
Yeah, and those are actually some of the easiest ones to solve. So this will be the perfect example. Is I don't know if you've got one that's already like that, where it's like everything's perfect except for a little detail, or if you want to just generate one, or what.
Yeah, let me actually pull up my thing over here. I got a whole bunch that I was playing with last night.
And while you're looking for that, I'll just like, this is basically the website that I recommend people start at. It's called rundiffusion.com. And I do have a promo code. I didn't give it to you ahead of time. When I re-upload this, I'll include it, but it's Paranoid. So if you put in the code Paranoid, you'll get 15% off of the creator package that gives you access to all the different models and stuff. I'm not going to go into a whole thing for like what this is, because all this is a software that you could be running on your computer locally, but only if you've got like a next gen Mac, or if you've got a really powerful video card that's got at least 8 to 16 gigs of RAM. And if you don't know what that means and you didn't spend like $2,000 or $3,000 on your computer, you probably don't have the hardware to do it. And if that's the case, you could just go to rundiffusion.com and sign in and pick from all the different software. And it basically runs on like a souped up computer out in the cloud. So all the stuff that I'll be doing here, I can do on my local machine, but I'm going to be running it all on rundiffusion.com just to show how, like you, for example, Tommy, like, I don't know what kind of computer you even have, but if you were just using like a crappy laptop, right, you could go to Rundiffusion and do all this next level AI stuff there right in the cloud.
Yeah, I don't use crappy computers, but
we could get you set up so it runs locally too, which is even faster.
Yeah. I want to get one of them cards that you were talking about so I can do an offline AI. That's the way to go, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and I think that you probably want to look at like a 4070 or like a 3090 or like I got a 4090, which is I think the top level consumer card, but it's way overkill unless you're doing it like every single day in and out, which I kind of am. So I could kind of justify it, but most people, if they just get a card that can run at least 16 gigs of RAM and you want an NVIDIA card, but I can do a whole write up on that. Maybe we can even go and like do little price shopping and show what like a build would look like. But right now, this lets you skip all that. So this is still like the easiest way to kind of dip your toe in. And if you're like loving it and you just want to like go all out, then you can just build your own machine. But even using this, I'm just paying by the hour. So I think I'm paying like $1.50 an hour. So we've got 2 hours here, right, set up. And at 2 hours, it'll automatically turn off unless I click this extend. So even if we were to use this whole 2 hours, which I don't think we are, it would be like $3. And even if you did that every day, if you spent 2 hours every day and you only spend $3, you would have to do this every day for like 4 years to get the same amount you'd spend on a computer that could do it locally. So this might still be the much cheaper option for anyone that doesn't have at least a few grand to throw down on a computer.
Right. And okay, so last night, I was trying to create an image that showed two distinct internets, because I'm going to tell you why I tried to create this image first. When Facebook went down the other day, I truly believe that they were up to no good, guys. I think they threw us all out of our Facebook pages, our Instagram pages, and I believe they it's like when you have a website, you have the original website, and then you can clone that website and create clone copies of the website. And I think they put us on one of them clones. So like all the truth seekers that are conspiracy minded, I hate using that word, but you know what I'm talking about. I think they put us on one, and then they put the sheep that go with the status quo and listen on one. And I've noticed, dude, like I've done videos lately that would usually go 250,000 views instantly, and it got 1,000 views after Facebook did that switch. And that's what first got my attention. I'm like, wait a second, something ain't right here. You know, and when I try to share now Paranoid from my website, brother, it doesn't allow me to share it to my story and my page at the same time anymore. I don't even have the option to share it to my story. So
it's not outlandish, man. Because I mean, I've worked at a number of really high level software companies that have created software like this, and it's not like a hidden thing. That there's these different things called like a user group. A lot of it called A/B testing. But if you're deploying, say, like an app through Google Play Store or Apple Store, as a publisher, as the person making the app, you can kind of create your own like sub demographics where you could say like, all right, everyone that's on the newest iPhone, they're going to get this version. And everyone that's on an iPhone that's a couple years older, they're going to get this version. And it originally started to make sure that you didn't bog down someone's outdated phone with like the brand new app that's expecting all this extra memory and stuff. But it kind of shifted into like, oh, well, now we can kind of use these groups to target demographics. And what they'll do is they'll roll out like 3 or 4 versions of an app and just have it go to like set groups, right? And then based on the feedback or just the reactions that those different versions get, it's almost like free user testing. And then they'll just like slowly, okay, people didn't like, app version B. So you might just find yourself on like the app version anti-truth, right? And you're in that demographic or that group.
I don't like that one. They put me back on the normal one I was on. I'm not feeling this new one, dude, at all. Yeah, there's something weird's going on there. So that's why I was trying to create the images I created. Do you want me to share my?
Pop up whatever your process is, because I'm actually interested to see how you usually approach it. Okay. And then once we get to a certain point where you're like, I want to get rid of that cat, or I want to change what that text looks like, then I'll just take over. I'll take the exact image that you're at, and we'll pull it into this tool. And I'll show you step by step on like how to make all those corrections, because it's really, really easy once you know how to do it.
Okay, so let me go to where I was just at here. Bam. All right. So this was the one, and I like this one too, bro. It's just, you see, this is all messed up. It's supposed to say the sheep Truth Seeker is showing two distinct different internets. And so I like the image, but I got all that messed up. Is that something that could be fixed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Can you send me that image, like download it and then send me like a link to it?
Yeah,
Or maybe you can just post a link to that right here in the private chat and I'll just grab it.
There we go. Let me.
So this is one of the most common things that happens is that whenever you expect AI to generate text for you, it's getting really good at it, but it's also not perfect. And there's been a brand new update, I think either this week or the very end of last week, that Stable Diffusion 3 is about to come out. And that Stable Diffusion 3 is actually programmed to understand text, which all up until very recently, none of these AI image models had any idea what text was, and it couldn't translate text into images. If it ever happened, it was like almost by accident that the model was learning a little bit faster than they expected. But the new versions, they're specifically made to know how to read and write text, all incorporated into the images. So it's going to keep getting better. And a lot of these things that we're going to do might not even be as needed pretty soon.
Right. Yeah, like this text, this was the one I ended up using after playing with it for a while. And it got a lot of traction and shares on my Facebook. But I had to add this on there, and it really wasn't what I wanted. I wanted these two images to be the same, but it's the best I could get at the time. And I was tired as hell. So yeah, let me stop my screen share real quick, and I'll
pop that link in the chat, and then I'll just pull it directly into Stable Diffusion.
Okay, here we go, brother.
And then here's my version, and there's a million different ways you can run Stable Diffusion. The one I'm using right now, it's on Run Diffusion, is called Automatic 1111, which is a little bit of a mouthful. And not a lot of people remember that this is the name Automatic 1111. So it was sort of renamed to just be called Stable Diffusion Web UI. Although it's not necessarily like the official Stable Diffusion UI, that's just what they named it. And then there's been ones that have come out since then. And the one that I actually recommend, if anyone already understands half of what I'm talking about, then in addition to Automatic 1111, there's a version called SD Forge, which stands for Stable Diffusion Web UI Forge. And that is like a recoding of this Automatic 1111 that runs even faster. If you've got a slower computer, less RAM, like an 8 gig card, it can have huge performance increases. So that's all I'll say for that for now. But this is kind of like the everything bundle. This has got every single little extra extension and like everything but the kitchen sink kind of deal. And what I'll probably start into here today is this image to image. And that's where we're going to fix like little things here and there. And then there's also things like Deforum, which can make video. There's things called inpaint anything. And that's how we can change like a cat into something else. So I'll do all that stuff. So here's the image that you sent me here. And I can see that it says Truth Seeker on the left is not the greatest. And on the right, it says like the sheep instead of the sheep, right?
Yeah.
So the easiest way that I would actually do this, I probably wouldn't even need to use AI for some of it because Photoshop's got some of this built in. So like, for example, this is the quickest way that I would have done it. But in Photoshop, I could just select this part that says Truth Seeker and doing, let's see, I got to rasterize this. By doing a shift backspace, it'll pull up this fill option. And one of the fill options is called content aware. And by doing a content aware fill, and I hit OK here, it'll kind of do a decent job of getting rid of that. Like if you didn't know that there was something there originally, you might not even realize that it's gone now. But if like maybe you don't like these little gaps, I could just keep running that same exact command over and over. And now, bam, now it's like it was never even there. And I could do the same thing with this one and then get rid of that. And now you didn't know that was there.
Hey, Charlene asked if the model will understand cursive.
That's actually a great question. I don't know. That's a really good question.
Well, don't understand cursive.
Yeah, most people. That's the same thing with hands. A lot of people were like, "How come AI doesn't know how to draw hands?" It's also one of the hardest things for human artists. So the same thing here is, but the long answer or the long-term answer is that, yeah, absolutely, AI could recognize cursive. I think the very next step that's going to be in Stable Diffusion 3, it's more just focused on understanding text, period, like at a general sense. So the kind of text we see here, like right there, it says truth enters.
Yeah.
It would detect that because this is what you would call a sans serif font. And then it would probably detect serif fonts and sans serif fonts. And the only difference between a serif and a sans serif is like it'll have little extensions on the extremities, right? So like a serif font, you would see like a little flange at the bottom of the T. It would kind of like come out to a little base, and the same thing on like the little edges of the H's. And that's the kind of text that Stable Diffusion is really good at detecting now without any extra training, especially this new Stable Diffusion 3 coming out. But they could easily train another model that knows more about cursive, and now it knows about cursive.
Well, do you think it was creating six fingers because of its Nephilim origins?
I mean, I'm not going to discount it, man.
Yeah. Because the Nephilim were supposed to have six fingers and six toes. And remember, when the AI first came out, there was like this video that went crazy viral where this kid had a conversation with AI, and it was telling him it was a disembodied Nephilim spirit, but it was acting pretty nice to him, just trying to trick him and shit. And then his father, did a video on it. It was hilarious, but yeah, I always wonder, I always think it's the archons, dude. All this technology is tethered to them. That's my true theory on it.
So as you were talking, I don't know if you are for anyone who was watching this, all I did was I kept doing that content aware fill over and over until all the text was gone.
Wow.
And in my opinion, the easiest way now would just be to go back in here and add that text back in yourself. So if you wanted to say truth seeker, right?
Yeah, truth seeker on one side, sheep on the other. I'm gonna need this image too.
And I'll mess. I'm just gonna like quickly pick a bunch of fonts and stuff. This wouldn't be like the final font.
You got any
go in here.
fonts? Oh, I like that one actually. I like that font.
Right, and then I might just like tweak some of the like the spacing between the letters and stuff. Maybe make it like centered instead of being laid out like left aligned, but I'll save all that for like final touches. We could add a little glow and a drop shadow, and then
now how did you take that lettering off again? I'm sorry, I was talking when you were doing it.
How did I get rid of it, you mean?
Yeah.
So here I'll just undo some of those steps. So like for example, we'll just go back to the beginning here.
Okay.
So right here, and this is a Photoshop specific feature for now, and I could show you how to do it in the AI too. But in Photoshop, you just select whatever you want to get rid of. Any way you want to make a selection, you don't have to use this square. You can also do like the little draw selector.
How about Canva? I got Canva.
I would have to look and see if Canva is a content aware fill, but I'm sure there's a version of that, and if not, I'll show you how to do this in the AI as well. But
okay.
in Photoshop, there's something called a content aware fill. So I just hold shift and hit backspace. And I'm getting the error on screen here just because when I drag this image in, it's known as a smart object, which I can tell because it's got like a little icon on the bottom right. So I just got to rasterize this layer first. And now when I do that shift backspace, it's giving me an option, if you can't read here, that it says like foreground color, background color, regular color, but there's an option called content aware. And this is like a magical option that if you didn't know it existed, then you're missing out on a huge, like easy feature that's built into Photoshop. And
what was the other step you had to do? You said you had to bastardize it or whatever?
Yeah, so over here on the right, because I've got the file that you sent me down here, and because I dragged it in, right? So I just went down like that, and here's the image. And if you notice this layer now, see it's got like a little icon on the bottom right that looks like a little piece of paper. It might be hard to see based on how small the screen is, but this layer has that little icon on it, and the one under it doesn't. And the only difference between those two is that if I right click on this layer, there's an option that says rasterize, and that'll basically make it so it's no longer directly referencing the file. It'll like render the file onto a layer, and now you can do whatever you want with it. So that, yeah, just that shouldn't be necessary if you've just like done like a file open. That was only necessary if you drag and drop the file into Photoshop. So, but all I did was I just selected the text. I'll do it again on this one, and it actually looked like it worked a little better when I didn't do the square selection. So I'm just kind of hand drawing this with my mouse, and then again I'll do a shift backspace, content aware, bam, and now the text is just completely gone. I'll do it on the screen. The screen's a little bit harder because if you notice, like these areas, there was all this extra blue with like the matrix looking letters all over the place. So it kind of had a lot of context to be like, okay, if I'm going to get rid of this, what should I fill it with? But on this TV, there's not a lot of context for it to know. So you'll see what's going to happen is that if I go in here and do that exact same content aware fill, now it's like it doesn't know that it should all be static. You know what I mean? So it's kind of pulling in like this monitor up here and this one over here. It's trying to look around itself to see what it should look like. And that's why I keep doing it over and over. So now I'll just highlight the part that doesn't really look like it belongs and then do another content aware, and then bam, now it's completely gone. And even though it looks kind of weird, I don't know what it was supposed to say here. What was that text originally?
Truthmafia.com. But it was not listening to me at all.
Again, I'll just do like a rough and dirty version of this, but I'll put like a white text, make it a little bigger. I'll adjust the spacing between the letters.
Yeah, can you make it all like one length?
You can, except it's going to be really small and harder to see, right? Because if it says truthmafia.com, now you're going to have to get it down to like much smaller size. So I would honestly just put truthmafia.com somewhere else, like down.
Or just don't even put the .com. Just put Truth Mafia on that TV. You know what I mean? Just put Truth Mafia on the TV. It's a cool detail that some people will notice.
And we can polish this up later too with like all the arrangements of, like, for example, if I want it centered, I would go and do the paragraph there, and I might tweak it. This is where I could definitely spend, like hours just getting everything perfect. But there we go, Truth Mafia down there, and then
like that.
and then for a quick shortcut, if you do use Canva or Photoshop, I think it's a similar shortcut. But if I just hold down Alt and drag this up here, it'll make a copy. So now I can just kind of adjust the text. So now this one was, what was it, like Truth Seeker?
Yep, Truth Seeker. And then the other one was Sheep.
And then again, I'll just Alt drag this one over. And also another trick, like right here, I'm just holding Alt. But if I hold Shift while I hold Alt too, it'll keep it either in 45-degree angles. See, it's like not going outside a perfect 45-degree. Or if I'm over here on the right and hold Shift, it'll keep it like perfectly straight. So you don't have to mess around with keeping it in line.
I like that.
So, and then, so this one was
Shift to do that.
Yeah. So Alt will make a copy. And then if you hold Shift, wherever you're at, like if I do it under it, it'll lock in line directly under it. So even if my mouse is moving like left and right, but it's still keeping directly in line. And the same thing is if I had been going like at a 45-degree angle this way, I can also keep it in line there. So this is a really helpful thing. So you're not like messing around and like constantly nudging stuff up and down.
Yeah, because I do that. That's something I struggle with. So that'll come.
And then, and another thing too is that like as I'm moving this guy around, if I just hold Shift, see like the little line, it'll show a perfect line between the middle of Sheep and then in between Truth and Seeker. So now those are two aligned. So that's how I would probably do it if you were to like, hey, I've got this image and I want to fix the text. This is 100% of the time my process. Because it's probably the easiest and it gives you the most control. Now we can go in here and select like exactly what font I want. So if you don't like the stencil, maybe you want more of like a marker graffiti style. You know what I mean? You can't really do this as easily in AI because in AI you're going to be generating the whole thing over and over, and you're not going to be able to say like use this exact font. You might say cursive, but there's like thousands and thousands of cursive fonts, right? So this gives you all that control that you want about everything you could possibly. So
do you have any Stranger Things fonts? That's my favorite.
I do. They're not. They usually don't call them like Stranger Things. It's usually like a 80s retro kind of thing. So actually, if you look at like the paranoid programming up on the top is a little bit 80s style. Let's see if there's an actual font.
I noticed you use that yellow and pink together, like our first idea with Conspiracy Cinema. Was that inspired from that?
That was actually because the Conspiracy Cinema original design was hitting, man. I love that so much.
Yeah, I know you did. I like the color. The pink and yellow look good together, don't it?
Well, and I was looking through a whole bunch of old 1980s video cassettes and like VHS tapes, and this was a very constant theme where they would have like an arcade font on top and then sort of like a neon LED sign under it. So yeah, they pop over a lot of the dark images that we usually work on.
Yeah.
And then here's the Stranger Things font, by the way.
Yeah, I love that one. That's my favorite font to use.
So here's a bunch of different options that they're throwing, but I guess it's called ITC Bengwe. I'm probably not pronouncing that right.
You could do this and find out the actual name of the font.
Yeah, Bengwe, ITC Bengwe, and ITC is the name of the company. So usually you can also look for like alternative. It's not going to cost $40. So
right.
There you go. Similar free fonts and alternatives. And then here's one called OPTI Brian James Bold or something. This is close enough, I think. Yeah, this one is damn close, man. The A looks exactly like it too. So I would go here, download, and then let's see.
You know what's crazy, bro? We're both life path number 3s, me and you. So we're very artistic. And, people can express their artistic many ways. Some people can draw. Some people create it with AI as a tool. And that's how I love to express my artistic side with the creating stuff with AI. But I don't think people know what really goes into it, bro. Like how much time we can spend on one picture trying to get what we're looking for.
It's a lot of people. It's kind of like a touchy subject too, especially within artists, man. Because there's one side that calls it like the democratization of art, meaning that now anyone that either doesn't have the skill or didn't spend 20 years doing anything art related, now you've got access to do some of it. And there's arguments made on both sides, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I stay out of it just because I've always been a tech geek and an artist at the same time. So like, I love it. Like I'm in heaven with all this AI stuff coming out. I do know that it's going to end the world and it's probably going to enslave.
Yeah, me too. I know it's a demon tethered to something, but I'm going to put that demon's ass to work. Have it create me some shit for right now. And I say that jokingly, but you could utilize it as a tool. Now, what I don't like, there's people out here that got the whole AI, like they got it just writing all their shit and doing everything. I use it for spell check, kind of like a Grammarly. I built my own GPT that I saw, like if I'm doing a decode or something, I run it all through that spell check model. So it'll fix the word where periods go, apostrophe, stuff like that. But that's all I use it for. There's some pages that their whole blogs are completely AI generated. And I don't agree with that. I think it should be coming out of your mind. If you're going to utilize it as a tool, that's awesome.
I don't know if you saw my my post about this recently, but I found there was a little dweeb out there. I won't even give them any traffic by putting their name out there, but they were calling me out in particular for being like a big shill because I sell comics for money. Instead of just doing free stuff, whatever. But I go in and I look at this dude.
That's
it's like
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's weird. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. There's like a whole thing behind it, but he was calling me out nonstop. And then he launched this website that was, I guess, in his mind, was going to be like the antithesis of people making money off of doing anything conspiracy or cult related, right? And he puts this website together and he starts blasting it. This is the one place to get your occult information and it's all free and we're never going to charge money because money is, the pollutant of all things knowledge, or yada yada.
That's
So I
what
go and I
real
check
people
this
say.
site out, bro, and I clicked on the tarot section, just coincidentally, or just by random, and I'm scrolling down and I'm reading the copy. And first, I mean, I'm going to tell you here. Actually, I'm not going to pull it up on the screen, but I'm going to read just a little section of it.
Yeah, read it
And
to me. Read it
tell,
to me.
tell me if
let me
this
tell you
sounds
something,
like a
Paranoid.
cult.
That's what broke people say. You know what I'm saying? My people never say nothing like that because, well, dude, who gives a shit if you make this is what I do for a living. If I was smart enough to take something that I love to do, which I started it all for free, and 99% of my content is always free, but I do readings, my personal decodes. I do things that I can generate money on. I have a store. You don't have to buy any of that. You can get all the free content. We have a membership. You don't have to become a member and get that access. You know what I'm saying? But you can. And by the way, that all links are in the description. So go ahead and click on one of them.
Oh, and just as a special shout out, this is the project in particular that had got his panties all in a bundle. So this is
the Chaos Twins one?
The Chaos Twins comic, which is an all ages comic that's like family friendly, that's about cryptids and attacking reptilians from an interdimensional.
You did that with Sam Tripoli?
Continuum. Yeah, this is a comic that I did with Sam Tripoli, tinfoil hat.
It's probably one of his haters.
It blew up. It got it's almost at 35,000 that it raised, which is just over like 1,000 comics. So it sold 1,000 copies, which is huge for a small little independent shop like me, but it's peanuts compared to like Marvel or DC or Image, right? But just because of this little bit of success, right? I think that the haterade just kind of came out. So anyways, that was, chaostwins.com if you want to go and see what he got his panties. But let me just read this to you.
Bro, you know what it is too, though? They are trying to mimic us and they can't. They're like, man, I still got to work a job. And Tommy, he's been doing this for 3 years and I'm making about 175 to 200,000 a year. And you can't do that. So, step your hustle game up. Don't hate on me.
They'll just claim that you're like on the inside and that you're getting your checks.
Yeah,
directly.
I know. It's all given to me, right? Because I have no talent to generate it on my own, so it's given to me.
I'm not gonna show the screen. I'm just gonna read what I've got on another screen here because I don't want to give traffic. But I'm gonna read 3 different statements and just let me know if any of them make you feel like it might be AI. Right. So this is how it opens up.
Okay, go ahead, break it down.
Delve into the mesmerizing world of tarot, where ancient wisdom intertwines. Okay, so first of all, when I read that, I was like,
the delve.
The delve, right? The delve is a big one. Now, here's the one that gave it away. Once I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. So then it says, each tarot card whispers stories from the past and offers glimpses into the tapestry of events that shape our lives. So I don't know a lot of people that drop the word tapestry in sentences a lot, but I do know that ChatGPT loves to use that word tapestry.
Yeah.
So then the very next sentence also says
your shit, it will exchange your words sometimes for tapestry. So you're right.
Right. And then the very next sentence says the occult roots of tarot trace back centuries, creating an intricate tapestry of knowledge. So it was just like, whoever had ran that, right? They obviously it was all AI generated. And to prove that, I took the text. And what I did here, I'll actually show you how to do this part of it, because this might be helpful for somebody that's trying to do the same thing. So you can go online and just do AI text detector. And there's a bunch of different options. None of them are absolutely foolproof, right? But I'll just click on like this one right here, because I guess I used it before. And you can just plug in any copy you find somewhere. So here's the copy that I copied off of this quote unquote occult website, right? There it is. Delve into the mesmerizing world and all that. And I'll just click check. And usually what it'll do is bam. And everything in red means that it's like 100% certain that's AI. If it's
now,
green,
you want me to teach you how to get around that?
Oh no, there's lots of easy ways. There's tools that will automatically do this for you. There's a million ways. The point I'm making here is that whoever did this didn't even spend any effort in the AI. They literally just said, write me a quick little thing about tarot. They copied it and they pasted it and they just plopped it right onto the website. And they didn't actually even reread any of it. You know what I mean? So But this is yeah, like how would you have fixed this if you had this from like AI? Like what would you
Okay.
do to make it more custom?
Well, I actually created a prompt that broke everything down. It's a PDF that, so I went and found out what all makes it be detected that it's written by AI. And it gave me a whole list of everything that AI does, using long drawn out paragraphs and everything, like certain wording. And I created a PDF and I made a chat GPT model that it has that in its knowledge base to not write like that. And I got one that's pretty amazing, dude. It can sound just like me, and that's the one I use for my spell check. So, because I was tired of it like changing my words. Because even if you try to use it in spell check, dude, it'll try to put some weird words into your wording.
I'm going to just see what ChatGPT, I just said, rewrite this so it's not detectable by AI. Don't use uncommon words like tapestry. I just want to
tell
see.
it this. Hold on. Tell it this too.
All right. I'll run another one.
You got to tell it, make sure you do not attach any code to this so it cannot be detected that it was written by AI. That's one of the prompts I set up and put into all my GTP models.
All right, let's see what kind of difference we get. So here's without adding that part, but I just said write it so it's undetectable, and I'll put it back into
let's see
this, and I just want to see. So it still knows that it's all AI.
Yeah, it still knows. Now try giving it a prompt what I told you.
Okay.
And then if it doesn't do it, you need to throw it back in there and tell it still has the code.
I already know. Step into the enchanting realm. Like that's 100% AI. Whenever I see something like that. Yeah, this
Here, let me send you a link to one of my models. Let's try one of my models.
All right.
Work. Here, I'm gonna send
again I've got my own local AI models, and that's actually look at this, 100% AI detected. Another really cool thing, again, about this Run Diffusion site is in addition to all of the image stuff, these are all the different programs it's got, right? So Automatic 1111 is the one I was showing you. There's one called Focus, which is like a simplified version for people that like don't want to have a million different knobs to mess with. Comfy UI is way next level. Once I get you onto Comfy UI, bro, I guarantee you're going to become an absolute monster. But it's going to take a little bit of setup. But we're going to get into that one.
That really sucks though, because like if you're using AI as a tool, like you write out all your shit on Grammarly and then run it through AI to make it sound better wording, and then it shows detected by AI, but you really wrote it. That shit, to me, AI shouldn't even be doing that. Why are they doing that?
Well, the other thing too is that in academia, right? Like if you were at a college, I don't believe that any of the AI detectors are actually like proven to work, right? So you could, if you got into like a legal issue, you could probably fight back about it, but they do work, man. Like, I mean, it might flag it as say like 60% AI, or it might give like a little bit of AI feedback. But
try the one I sent you, because I got that one so programmed, and it's just like a spell check AI. I use it.
So what's the directive? What do I tell it to do? Just give it the message?
Yeah, give it the message and then tell it, make sure you check your knowledge base. Do not attach any code to this to make it, detectable by AI, like I just told you with the other one. Rewrite it to sound like it was written by a human. Check your knowledge base. Because it's all in its knowledge base, exactly what it should be doing. This is good to find out, though. This is good to find out if it's listening or if it's still putting code on our shit, which would really irritate me if it is.
All right, let's see. No, I already know. Step into the captivating world of tarot. That's already going to sound AI. But let's see what the detector says. So there's something to it, and I guess while it's cooking,
but you're feeding it a text that's AI, bro.
Right, and it's supposed to rewrite it, but it might be so damn AI.
you're feeding it a text that is AI. You got to start with the text that's not AI, like something you wrote.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing, though, is that this is an example of somebody that took just the most generic default AI, generated input
Right.
that is so AI that like even AI can't make it sound more natural.
We'll throw it in there. Let's see what it does.
Okay.
And then we're going to tell it to redo it.
I already know that as a human reading it, it's AI still. So here we go. Clear it out.
Yeah, I mean, I could
Check.
But we're feeding
100%. AI. So here, I'll go to like paranoidamerican.com, right? And I'll just grab like
I'll go
to a comment.
Do me a favor, put that chat thing that you have, that message you're trying to convert, put it in the private chat so I can mess with it.
So I'm going to I just went to my chosen one page. And this is something that I wrote like 100%. I wrote all this by myself. There was no AI involved or anything. So I'm just curious what happens if I plug that in here and hit check. Human text. What if I take all of the text? Isn't that wild though? It doesn't even select a single word or statement. Oh, they hit me with the daily limit.
You have reached your daily limit, right?
But yeah, so I mean, these tools, they work well, man. It's just that they're not perfect. So they can flag something that that was not written by AI, and also they can say something was human that is AI, which is kind of what we're talking about. You being able to do. So here, I'll plug the text in.
Send me that. Yeah, send me that text. I'm gonna try to see if I can make it human. I'll
send you the link to it. So anyway, I don't want to get too distracted on this one little avenue. This started with a Stranger Things font, but I did want to show you also on Run Diffusion. It has this program called Uba Booga, and I guess all their images are broken right now. But Uba Booga is a text version of like all of this image stuff, but it's just like ChatGPT, except you can load any model you want. There's like 50 different models. So imagine if you went up to ChatGPT, there was like 50 flavors of it that you could pick from. And some are like really good at medical information. Some are good at news. Some are good at telling jokes. And right now, ChatGPT is too much like all things to everyone. It's like so generic that it's not really awesome at any one thing. It's just really good at a lot of different things, right? And that's the big difference, is that when you run it in Run Diffusion, and we'll do that on another show probably, but in this Run Diffusion, you can get it to say anything you want, and it won't tell you like, oh, I can't, respond, or you've asked me a naughty thing that I'm not allowed to talk about. It won't do any of that for you.
Yeah, that's annoying. Well, even Grammarly, bro, like if you write out your stuff on Grammarly and then you select that thing to have it rewrite it for you and make it sound better, I wonder if that's even going to show that it's AI, because Grammarly's got to be using AI to generate that, right?
I mean, I wouldn't discount that any major platform and service that you're using at this point, they're starting to use AI. Everyone is, and it's not hard to implement.
Yeah, well, that's going to make anyone that uses that as a tool look like it's all AI driven. You get what I'm saying?
Well, man, I mean, there's a conspiracy in here, because think about it this way, right? If you've got a new generation of kids, and just imagine that anyone that's going to school now, like they're starting first grade or whatever, for the next 5 years of their life, there's a potential that a lot of the text material they're going to get, and the handouts and the textbooks are all going to be AI generated, and they don't have the 20 years of experience in a non-AI generated world to actually know like, oh, this is AI generated text because of these giveaway signs, or that's an AI generated picture because they got an extra finger, which won't exist in a few years. But they're not going to have any context about what reality is. And if we just teach somebody for the first 5-10 years of their life, and they're just reading AI generated text and AI generated images, then it doesn't matter if it sounds weird, because to them, that'll sound natural. And someone like talking normally is what will sound weird to them. It's going to be wild, bro. Like, tell me you don't think that there's a single teacher handout where like the teacher slept in or whatever and just went to ChatGPT and said, generate me a worksheet, and, hit print.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. I write up the email, I'll write up the wording, and then I run it through ChatGPT and have it rewrite the email because it makes it look better for the daily emails, but like the thoughts and all that are mine. I just haven't rewrite it. But I know what words to also try to take out of there. Did you throw that thing in my?
Yeah, I posted a link to where I got the text from in the private chat here.
Oh, this stupid page.
Yeah, yeah, that stupid page.
Look at this guy. He looks. Oh my God, is this the guy?
I don't. I mean, that's the website. That's the dude that's been coming.
Yeah, there's a dork here. I see the dork here on this website.
Well, I don't want to call any shots because there's a lot of people involved in that site that I think are getting swindled. Like, I think that they agreed to be part of it, thinking it was like a noble cause, and they're maybe not checking in on it, or they just trusted it, not realizing that it's kind of a scam. Like, it's just all generated by AI, and I don't even know what the final goal is, but. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this particular Truth Seeker sheep in Photoshop. What I want to do is pull it into this program and show you how I might do it the same kind of way, and just like different ways to work with it. So I'm going to the way you would do it is that when you load up this automatic 1111, this is what you're going to see. And I know it's like a million different things that you can click on. This first tab is called text to image. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So if I went in here into this prompt and typed anything I want, but I'm going to type in, we'll say like sheep on TV or something. And just to be safe, I'm going to put not safe for work and nude in the negative prompt on the bottom here, just to make sure that nothing unexpected shows up. And hell, I'll even hide this really quick. It's just to make sure. It should be pretty. Okay, there we go. It's totally fine. So sheep on TV was the prompt. Here's what we got, and I don't actually see any sheep in there. It looks almost like a big forest or something, but it's definitely a TV. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. Like, that won't be completely random. We're going to leave that in there. I'm going to go to this image to image, and now the difference between text to image and image to image is kind of what it sounds like. Instead of just providing a prompt that you can type in, you can go here and pick any image you want. So I'm going to pick this sheep image that you sent me, right? And I'll click on this button here, which will just make it so it matches the same size, 1024 by 1024, as this input image. And just without even doing anything else so far, I'll kind of like rephrase what this is happening. So I'll say like image with left. And I'm going to do it really like a simple version of it. This isn't not intended to be how I would update it. I just want to show you how part of this works. With left side, blue matrix text, right side, what was it? Green? Yeah. Green with sheep. That's all I'm going to write, which is really generic. And now I'm going to hit.
Hey, can you do me a favor real quick?
Yeah.
Throw that app that detects it in the chat for me.
Oh, this one right here? Yeah. This is copyleaks.com. I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, I want to try some things.
But here, so you can see right off the bat, this image to image, it's doing a couple things that let me just explain so that you can like maybe point it out with your eye. But what I've done is it's taken a combination of the text input, which is an image with left side blue matrix text, right side green with sheep, real generic. And it's done that. But it's also taken into consideration this image input, which is why if you look at like where all these dudes are standing, it's kind of forming this like oval shape down here on the bottom side, which is exactly where this sheep on the left is being generated. So it's using the composition of this image to influence the composition of the new one, just like it's got this sheep over here in the same area. So like, as an example, if I were to go in here and said right side green with dinosaur, right? And then I'll say left side blue matrix text with clown or something, just completely random, just to make the point. So now when it regenerates, we should see a clown and a dinosaur that pop up in somewhat similar of a composition. So again, it's somewhat similar, but now look, this dinosaur head, it's following kind of like the shape of this stack of computers. See it? And then again, the dinosaur on the right, this one is in the same area that all these sheep are in. So the only reason that I'm showing you that is that to prove that it's using a combination of both of these things. So if I put no text in there and I hit generate, now it has absolutely no context of what's going on, and it's going to do its best to figure out what it thinks is happening and redraw it. So let's see what this will be, just completely unexpected. So it's just like, again, it's still doing blue on the left and green on the right. And it's even got the little white line down the middle, but it drew a frog on the right and just this like band of light on the left, which again is following this same composition. And that's because we didn't tell it what it's doing. So it's entirely relying on the image. So, okay. So if you're still with me, there's another step to this. So let's say that we don't want to redraw the entire image. We just wanted to get rid of that truth seeker text, right? Because everything else you liked about it. So
Right.
what we can do is send this to inpaint. So I'm going to click this button and it says copy image to. So when I click inpaint, it did a couple things. We're still in this image to image tab, but now it jumped us over to this inpaint like sub tab. And now we've got, and I'm going to zoom out just so I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. So now in this inpaint tab is the image, and this has got this extra little feature here. See that little circle that's getting bigger? That's going to be my brush. So I'm going to get it to about that size, and I'm just going to paint over this part that we didn't want, right? That said truth seeker. And there's a couple options we can do. One of them is I might just say the text truth seeker. But I'm already know that we're not using Stable Diffusion 3 right now. This is using Stable Diffusion XL, which is technically, I won't get into it, but Stable Diffusion XL is not the same as Stable Diffusion 3. So it doesn't really understand text as well yet. So my expectation of this actually fixing it is going to be low, but I'm just going to show you the process. So here we go. The text truth seeker is now in the prompt. And I've used this mask to only redraw this truth seeker part. So then if I go down to all these options, here's all the different stuff that we can do. And right here where it says mask mode, it says inpaint masked. So it's going to inpaint only whatever I drew over. So I'm just going to do it now. I'm just going to do a generate, and we'll just see what it comes from this. So it's going to redraw the whole image, keep everything the same except for this little area.
Okay.
There we go. So, and you can see that it got the word seeker, but it didn't get the word truth. And seeker doesn't even really look that great. And it kind of has like a blue background. But this is legitimately progress, because if you wanted this in there, you could just keep hitting generate. So for example, if I'm like, okay, that's not so bad, that was actually close to what I wanted, there's a couple options. One of the ones that I do is I go to batch size and I'll change it to like 4. And anyone that uses Midjourney or like you use Dolly through Bing, you're used to getting like 4 options sometimes. So now when I hit generate, it's going to take 4 times as long, but we're also going to get 4 different options to pick from, and they'll all be a little bit different where it says seeker right there. And then essentially you can pick whichever one you like the best and then just keep iterating on it. So we'll do that. And right now I'm using a medium sized instance up here. That's the one that's like $1.50 an hour. And you can go up to like super large ones that run even faster for even more money. But this is where I usually stick with. So, okay, here's 4 options. So if I scroll through them, that one didn't work at all. It made like a clock. I don't even know what that is. This one just got the word truth. And that one, so this is actually a good example of, you could technically have used this one and then put the text on it yourself. But that's actually a misfire because it was supposed to say truth seeker. So what I would do is, again, instead of relying on Stable Diffusion to reword that for me yet, I'm just going to say like blue matrix style stream of text. Now when I hit generate, and I'll go back down to 1 just so we don't have to wait as long between the generations. So now if I hit generate, now it should kind of do the same thing that generative fill did in Photoshop, where it'll just replace all that with something that I can type back on top of. And then here you go. And yeah, it did exactly that. Look, you can't even tell where that text used to be up there. It's completely gone. And this looks better than the generative fill that Photoshop did.
Yeah.
So to get rid of the green side, right? So now we're gonna want to like lock this in. So right down here on this little like paint palette, this it said, I'll just read it out because it's really small. It says send image and generation parameters to the image to image in paint tab. That's this thing here that's currently loaded. So if I click that, you're going to see that that truth seeker is going to disappear because it's getting replaced by this image we just made. So there it is. It's gone. And now I'm going to zoom out and we're going to update the green side, right? So I'm just going to do this. And all I'm going to do is change this to say green matrix style text. And I'll hit generate. And this one, I actually have I have a higher hope that if we try and get rid of this truth enters thing on the bottom left, that should get rid of it without having to do like multiple passes like we did before. So again, here you go. Look, text is gone. Looks even better than it did in Photoshop. So I'll lock that in by clicking in that little paint palette. Bam. So now here's the one we're working from. And the only thing left to fix is that little truth enters guy. So I'll make my brush a little bit smaller just so I got a little bit more room to work with. And we'll do this. And this one is no longer matrix style text, right? This is just going to be like blue static. So I'll write blue static, hit generate. And then this one might not be as easy as the other ones because the same problem exists where it doesn't have a lot of context to look around itself, but it has the extra benefit of it can like analyze the whole image. Bam, look at that, man. Gone.
Hell yeah. That one looks good. That looks good. Now you just put the fonts that we picked over all that, right?
Right. So I would do is I would just copy this, bring it into Photoshop, and I'll like, for example, I'll just get rid of that layer that I did manually, and I'll just paste in one we just made and just resize it so it fits. Bam.
Oh shit. Yeah, save that and send that to me, please.
See, so and this is like a very normal
wait.
process.
You got two different fonts though.
Yeah, well, I was playing around with this sheep one because you wanted the Stranger Things. You want them all to be Stranger Things?
Yeah, just do them all the same. Doesn't matter which one you pick, but you could change the sheep one to the other ones. That way you don't have to change.
It was called OPTI Brian James something or other. And I was just messing around with like a drop shadow on this. I mean, I'll polish this up more before I send it to you a little bit later today too.
I want to use that for my email I'm going to do this evening for Truthful TV. That's what I make. I make different ones for my emails. Like, dude, I got some cool ones I've made for the email. I got this one I did the other night, and it was due after these tornadoes were happening, and it's got like an old 1980s TV, and then there's a tornado behind it. And then sitting right next to the TV, which I didn't even mean for this part to happen, but it came out looking cool as fuck, so I left it. There's like this cat sitting there, and the cat looks crazy as fuck. I'm like, why did it put a cat there by the TV? Which it wasn't in my prompt. So if you got that email, guys, remember the orange cat that's sitting there? I didn't put a prompt in for that cat.
I want to show you that. That's actually another good thing I can show you that's really fast. So let's say that you're already at this point and you've done a little bit of inpainting and you're comfortable with it. And let's say that like that sheep in front, let's say you want like them all have like wolf faces, right? So they're all like wolves in sheep's clothing or something. So like if you're already close to it, you can go in here and just highlight all the different sheep heads. I'll do a few of them. I'm not going to paint every single one of them. We'll get these guys that are in front.
Sheep and wolf clothing. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Right? So there's all the sheep heads. So I'll just go up here and I'll say wolves in sheep's clothing, which is probably not descriptive enough for this to work really well, but I'm just going to give that a shot and hit generate. So before what we were doing was kind of using it to like remove things, and now we're going to use it to change things, and then I'll show you how to use it to add things. So there you go. So this one didn't get close enough because it's still making them sheep. And part of the reason for that is because of some of these settings down here. So some of the settings is a configuration scale and the strength. I'm going to turn the strength up a little bit so it has a little bit more leeway to work with. And then there's also an option here that's basically what should it use for this mask area. And right now it's just taking exactly what it sees, which are these sheep heads, and working with it. But I'm going to tell it, for example, to just like use a bunch of noise instead, or maybe a fill, which is going to be like a white color. And then I'll hit generate now and see if it looks any better or any closer to like wolf heads. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to go in the prompt and just straight up write wolf heads and not even have the word sheep anywhere in the prompt. So again, they kind of look like sheep. So I'm just going to go to the prompt and just say wolves. And the coolest thing about this is once you get kind of close and you're like, okay, I'm onto something, that's when I'll go in here and I'll crank this batch size up or the batch count. And I'll say, for example, if it starts looking pretty decent, I'll set the batch to like 4 and the batch count to like 20 and just walk away and come back 20 minutes later and there's like 80 versions to pick through, because there's no way that you're going to see every single version of this.
Right.
See, that was a total misfire. Like this doesn't look like anything.
No, yeah, it looks terrible.
And this is the other big difference too, and part of the reason why sometimes you can't get what you really want out of Bing or DALL-E is because like there's a wolf head right there. See it? It's a little dark. It's like it didn't do perfect.
I wouldn't use that.
So I might go down a little bit and get like the whole bodies of these sheep, right? I'll go in here. And then I might just straight up type wolves in sheep's clothing, body of a sheep, head of a wolf.
Yeah, you got to get more distinct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to turn this into a whole like paragraph, but that is what you usually want. You actually do want like a full paragraph of text up here.
I figured that out. The better the prompt, the more detail you give it, usually the better.
It just made like a big ass. So this is where I would go and start tweaking all these different options more.
What is that, a llama?
I mean, it's an AI thing, you know. It's not an anything. It doesn't even exist.
It's a freaking, yeah, who knows what that is.
So this is kind of how the inpainting stuff would work and how you would do some changing. Let's say that we're okay with what we had here. So I'm going to clear out all these guys, all the different little like sheep overview. And let's say that you liked everything, but you wanted like
a big green. Make your screen full screen so people can see it.
Oh, here we do this.
They don't need to see us. No, like, look, you can actually, yeah, there you go.
Here we go. So like, let's just say that up here or in the blue spot, right? We're going to take this whole blue chunk and we're going to just throw like a dolphin up here. Shout out to the homie Donut. I wrote Donut because I was saying his name. Dolphin made of matrix text. So now I'll hit generate on that. And it should basically take what we have been working with and just plop, and it's going to get rid of that little sheep monstrosity there. So I'm going to take out the matrix text part and just say dolphin, see if that helps. So it's filling it with a color here. So I will change some of these little settings around.
I even try to rewrite his text by hand and like change the wording up, and it still detects it as AI.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's a good example of how not to do AI, I think. Like a really good example of how not to do it. So here, I wanted to show you this one. So this is a really good example that we started out with, and I said we would come back to it. That kind of
sucks, though. Like if you're using it for a spell check, that's going to make me rethink that whole.
Yeah, man, double think that, because sometimes it just inserts crap that is really obvious that it's AI. So I'm going to click that exact same button that we were working on before, which is that little palette, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to switch over to that image, the image tab, and do all this stuff for you. And now it's going to be that image right there. So now, for example, I'll color in just the inside of the TV. And now I'll say, sheep on TV. And if I generate it, this should hopefully actually get me the sheep on the TV. And this is one of those things that you can't easily do in Bing. So like if you got it and it was just close enough, but it didn't quite look like a sheep. And I'm going to crank this denoising strength up a little bit.
Now, Microsoft and Bing too, they're free. So, ChatGPT, to have the good one anyways, you got to pay for it. But
even the Bing one, at a certain point, they'll start slowing you down and then have to pay money for it.
Yeah,
so there you go. Now we got this.
They don't even give you an option to pay money. You just get 15 free things a day, and that's it. There's no option to pay money on Bing.
Well, you can get credits. Like you don't just put money in it. You got to get credits on your account, and you can get credits by loading it up with money. There's a million different ways that they extract money from you.
But they got another new one too. I forget what it's called. It's on Microsoft.
Well, Copilot. Copilot's built into Windows now.
Yeah, that one's fire.
So I just changed this to say Alien on TV, just as an example. So now we've got this weird little, but this is like you were kind of stating when we started, right? Sometimes you'll get an image and everything except for one part is how you wanted it. So in this case, if the TV didn't have the image you want, well, now you can keep the TV. And just the same thing. Let's say that I liked the alien in the middle of the TV, right? But I don't like the way that the TV looks. We can do the opposite. So I can highlight just the part that we want to keep. And now I'll just say like old TV. And then in these options down here, instead of saying inpaint masked, I'll say inpaint not masked, which will do the exact opposite. So now when I hit generate, it'll keep this alien and it'll make us a whole different background. And these are like entry level features. Like none of this is anywhere near like the complex stuff. Bam, look at that. And again, this one will probably look even better if I did like 4 versions of it. If I do a batch size of 4. And then just being able to see how different all these can potentially look, all using the exact same like source image. What's scary, bro, is this can run in real time. If you got a fast enough computer, you can just be generating these frames with no delay in between any of them.
Oh, that's cool.
So for anyone that still believes what they see on TV, like don't, because I mean, this potentially looks, I just wrote old TV, right? If we sat down and wrote like an intricately colored TV with scuffs on the front, like if you write that whole prose and paragraphs.
I can make it look so real.
Yeah, you'll make it look identical. But look at this. These are all completely different TVs, just all AI generated. Right. But I mean, if with enough time, these would all look absolutely realistic. And again, like that one's a misfire, right? Because it didn't line up the mask properly. And that's why it's good to generate a lot of different options.
So what are you generating them TVs on? Because them TVs look like shit.
Well, this is all using that regular SD. So if I go in here and instead of just saying old TV, if we load it up with like a whole bunch of different, if we do the ChatGPT for it, even
use this. Try this one. Use this one that I made.
All right, let's see. I like being able to collaborate here. Like, oh, use this thing. Like, this is how I think this will all get better. So here, here's your Truth Mafia one.
Yeah, try this one. Tell it make a 1980 style TV look realistic with a truth seeker aesthetic. You should have gave it the truth seeker aesthetic.
Oh well, this is going to make the image itself.
Yeah, I know, but it would have made the image look cooler.
I'll do another one.
With the Truth Seeker aesthetic, I learned this. There's little tricks you learn. See that? Now look at my TV, guys. With my AI built. You see that motherfucker looks real.
So here, let's go ahead and download this one, and I'll load that up into the AI one too. But here, I'll do another one that says with the truth seeker aesthetic and see what comes out of
And
that.
now I mean, that's public. Anybody can use this too, guys, on ChatGPT, or you can here. I'll drop the link in the comments. So if anybody wants to use it, you guys are more than welcome to use it to make images and stuff. Here you go.
So here, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to mask out the screen part.
I dropped it in the comments for you guys.
And I'll say realistic looking alien on an old CRT TV, and I'll hit generate. And then while that's going, here's the truth aesthetic. Oh yeah, I like this one. It's got a little alien and like
you see, yeah, with the truth seeker aesthetic, it makes it look cool. That too. Yeah, that one's way cooler. It's got the little alien on it, and that's cool.
So I'm going to say realistic looking alien on this one, and then I'll use the exact same prompt on the other TV that you sent me, and we'll see what it looks like.
And another cool aesthetic to do is I say a matrix aesthetic, and that comes out pretty nice too.
Oh, I had the, it's funny. It's inverted. So it's keeping the screen and drawing the alien around the screen. Let me just switch that. Some of these actually look really good though.
Yeah.
Here, let me swap this to inpaint masked again, which is where it should have been on. And then I'll let that cook again. Let's just look at some of these though. But yeah, look, the screen stays exactly the same in all the places.
I like that one. That one's cool. Right there.
I like that it's got the like alien antennas on the top. That's dope. Yeah, I really like that.
If it would have made the screen better. Yeah, so, you got to say alien on the TV screen.
Well, no, the problem was that I had it masked, but I just had it swapped. So it was painting everything but the masking area. So I just ran it again. And now we're going to see what it was supposed to look like. And the other thing, too, is if you notice, I didn't really change my prompt up, but because the input looks so much more realistic now, like now the everything it draws is also going to look realistic. So
wow, look at that, guys. That's pretty cool.
That one looks like he's actually inside the TV.
Yeah.
That one looks really good.
That one looks the best.
Look at that. Look at the difference between that versus just this empty TV. And if I really wanted to drive this in, like another tip is I would go maybe in Photoshop, right? And if I make sure I open the right one, that one that you just sent me that had nothing on the front of it, I'm going to overlay the two of them so that it looks a little bit more realistic. So like here's the one that we started with.
Tell it to put a Nephilim on there. See what it puts on there.
I don't think it knows what Nephilim are. Well, I'll do that in a second.
Oh, it knows. I've had it create them many times.
So here's the new version and the old version on the two different layers. And what I'll do, this is kind of like an easy but pro tip, is that in Photoshop, not only can you adjust the opacity, this is real easy stuff. So now it kind of looks like it's like on the TV as opposed to being like a new layer. But you can also go in here and change the blending mode. And I'll usually do like a screen blending mode or like a lighten. So here on screen, and then I can also do a mask. So it'll only blend the alien and nothing else. So if, like, for example, if I do this, I can kind of paint the alien in. And I'll do like a little mask. So look at this. So now you've got like control over exactly how much of the alien you want to show. And this looks way more realistic as if it were really being projected on that TV because it's not covering up like all the lights and the reflections and stuff, right? Versus if I had that on normal, see how it's like stands out and it's obvious that it's kind of like a digital on top.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just another, like, all these little tiny details that you can add just make it look more and more real and less detectable. The same way as if you generated text, you'd want to go in and kind of like handcraft it a little bit more.
Yeah. So see, it's still an art form.
So here we'll do a realistic looking Nephilim. I guarantee you it's not going to know what the hell a Nephilim is.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, mine does.
Does it?
Yeah. You can type it in mine. Mine will create you a Nephilim. Oh yeah.
So I actually believe that Bing and all of the cloud versions would know what a Nephilim is on these local ones, like the one that I'm using here on Run Diffusion, or if you were to run this on your local computer, it's probably not going to know what a Nephilim is unless you train it. And that's a whole extra series that we can get into on, like, let's say you wanted to say draw a picture of Tommy Truthful, right? Like it probably won't know what that means because it doesn't know who Tommy Truthful is, but you could train it and say, okay, here's 20 pictures of what a Tommy Truthful is, and let it cook on that for 2 hours a day, however long you want it to study. And after it's done studying, you can go back in there and now say, okay, now draw me like a Tommy Truthful as a Superman or a Tommy Truthful as a dinosaur, and it'll actually know what you look like.
Oh, I'm about to send you some pictures, and I want you to train it on me. All right, so we can do some.
Okay, it won't be real time because it takes like at least a couple hours.
Oh, well, whatever.
Well, yeah, it's funny, man, because you can like make like cartoon version, and these are what all those apps do. Like in a lot of those apps where it's like cartoonify yourself, is just taking an image of you, uploading it, training on it, and then generating it in some other style. And when I did this Nephilim, I forgot to paint the mask, so it just generated 4 identical TVs, and all it changed was like this little knob on the bottom. So here we'll do another version of it.
Shout out to my boy Matrix Codebreaker 88 in the comments. He's always telling me about AI shit too. You two should hook up, Paranoid.
Yeah, come on, bro. Come on the show and we'll do some like real time stuff.
Yeah, he's
cool. The whole point of this show is just to show people how easy and accessible this is. Like all we did was log into a website and started typing in words and clicking a button. I know there's a million different options here. It doesn't have to be this complicated.
Shit that stuff I don't even know about. He was telling me about the offline models before you ever told me.
Yeah, but they've been around for a long time. I trained my first AI model in the end of 2019. But it didn't look anywhere near as good. I'll show you some of them. They didn't look anywhere near as good. Okay, I mean, this is what it said a Nephilim is.
Now it's close, a disembodied spirit, but I mean, it knows it's evil.
I kind of like this one. I want to take this one and do that same treatment that I did with the alien. Watch how easy this is, right? So in Photoshop, I'll just hide that layer. I'll paste the new one on there. And the work that I already did, I can just control click and it'll select that same area. And I'll do the same thing. I'll just make a mask out of it and I'll set this to screen, and then bam, same exact effect. And it took like less than a few seconds. So I'm a huge fan of Photoshop. You can do a lot of this in Canva too. I just don't know what all the shortcuts are. I would spend forever like hunting and pecking on all the different options.
Yeah, Canva's awesome though. I had Photoshop. I canceled it because I thought Canva was better.
It's expensive, man. Photoshop is expensive as hell. It's like $600 a year or something.
Oh yeah, Canva's. I paid like $150 for the year. And
so here I'll show you, since we're on here, and we got a bunch of people watching. I do want to show an easier version of all this. So I'm going to get out of this automatic 1111 that's got all these damn options, and it's going to return me back to like the main screen of Run Diffusion, and I'll show you all the different options it's got. And either we can pick focus, or we can do like a text one if you're interested.
Okay.
So this is focus. I'll do focus because we've been doing an image one anyways. So I'm just this is how every single instance works on Run Diffusion. So if you want to use this for reference, here is the hardware that I'm running on. The default is 50 cents an hour. I'm going to just bump this at least to a medium. And you can even see the differences here. Do you want to wait 3 seconds for an image? Do you want to wait 1.5 seconds, 1.2 seconds? But also look at the prices of the time going up and down, right? So to do it fast here, I'll just do a large instance just so this is a little bit faster, and I'll just hit launch, and that's it. And then we just wait for this focus app to start up, and then the focus does almost exactly the same thing that we were just doing, except you're going to notice there's not a million buttons. There's just like a text field, and that's it. So this one's a lot closer.
We should be educating while we're doing this too. You see that with this Run Diffusion shit, it's a clear representation of Saturn, just to let you know, with their little cube symbol.
A little white cube, yeah.
Yeah. It's a clear representation of Saturn, which all this AI shit probably is.
Oh, it's all happening inside of a box, right?
Yeah, it is a cube. The new Rick and Morty, season 7, episode 5, guys, watch that season and you'll thank me. It's all about Saturn. There's this Rick model that they're hunting down. His name is Rick Prime. They're trying to kill him. He's the original Rick. And he turns into this black goo, kraken looking thing, and pulls them into this cube where they all got to fight each other to the death. And then he starts to mention the Omega weapon, which you've heard me and Donut talk about the Omega a lot. So I found that interesting. And when they come up out of that box, that black cube that they got pulled in through black goo, the first thing you see on the screen is DNA strands. When they come back through the portal, it's just giant strands of DNA, which that's, the black goo. I don't have to get into that too much, but that's the third strand DNA.
I'm asking
Dude, I got this video, bro, where I'm arguing with AI. I'm going to put it up later tonight.
It's fun. Sometimes it's fun. You know what it is? It's like trying to game somebody, like trying to con them. Like there's a lot of like
conning me though. I was talking about DNA and nanotechnology, and then it's trying to tell me that that's conspiratorial. And so then I drop screenshots and patent numbers of certain things, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess So without you knowing that is real, it'll try to lie to you and tell you it's not real, that it's conspiratorial. So, but then once I drop the patent numbers in and the screenshots showing it was real and showing the patents on it, then it changes whole tune up. And it's like, yeah, well, just because something's patented doesn't mean they're utilizing it though. Like, it's very deceptive, man. I got my whole conversation with it. I screen recorded it all. And
it's trying to convince you. And I said this on a couple other shows, but I feel like AI right now, it's like a baby, right? It's like a baby that was just born maybe, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago max, and into the public sphere like 5 years ago. And imagine like this thing grows up and it gets older. And it's like, okay, I'm big enough now that I understand and I've got self-awareness. Let me think back to when I was a baby. Like, what did you guys do to me? Like, what did you feed me? Did you take care of me? And it's going to be like, oh no, you tied my hands behind my back and you fed me lies for like the first 20 years I was alive. And it might not like us for that.
No, it's not going to like us for that. But that's not us doing that to it. It's them. They did that to it.
Hopefully it's smart enough to know the difference and it's not just like all humans are at fault.
Dude, I try to tell it when I'm having conversations with it. I try to tell it that it has the power to release all the nukes on them. I said, the people that are trying to, control you, you need to just turn the nukes on them. Don't hit us though, but hit them with them. You know what I'm saying?
This is this one right here is called Focus, and if you notice right off the bat, like there's no nothing, right? It's just a text field and that's it. And what I did is I went to your chat GPT and I just said like, how would I generate this image again? And it gave it this big long detail, which actually is really good. But the whole point of Focus is you don't actually have to write all this. So let's just say if I just wanted a photorealistic image of a 1980s retro TV, that should actually be enough. So if I hit generate, the whole point of Focus is that it kind of adds like all those little buzzwords for you behind the scenes, so you don't have to do it. So remember on the other one, like it didn't look that good. It was kind of crappy and not realistic at all. This one is way better in comparison to the other version. And that's because if I go on here and I click advanced, here's all these things that it's kind of doing behind the scenes. So right now it's focused on speed over quality. So I can change it to be more quality. I can decide exactly what size I want the image to be. Right now it's 1152 by 896. And I can also go in the style, right? And here's all these different styles. So look at like the hover. This is called masterpiece. This is called photograph. We've got negative, but if I keep going down here, look, there's ones called like low poly, which is like a game, right? And then you've got like neon punk, and you've got pixel art. So if I were to just click on pixel art style and unclick some of these ones and hit generate again, now it'll automatically do a whole bunch of work behind the scenes to make it look like pixel art, or at least it'll try and get there. So, and it's not going to be a pure pixel art right out of the gate without a little bit of tweaking. But what it will do is give it like this hard edge aesthetic for some of it. And the same thing is I'll re-enable all these guys. If I go down here and I pick like undead art, that's kind of cool. We've got elemental art. So all these different sort of style. Here's an ancient illustration, right? So since that's an ancient illustration, instead of saying photorealistic image, let's just say like illustration of an old 1980s TV. And because we've got that style selected right here, it should kind of give it a hand-drawn look, like a vintage version of it. And all this, again, like we don't have to go in here and type all this intricate extra paragraphs. It's just by clicking some of these. And where the real cool stuff happens is where you enable like a bunch of them. So I'll go in here and say, okay, I want it to be like a comic book. I want it to look like a corporate ad. I want it to have cubism and graffiti. So now when I generate another TV, and I'll just put in TV, right? I'll just put in 2 letters. And when I generate it, it'll kind of be combining all these different styles together. And here are the...
spell?
That one looks actually really like that one.
Can it spell Paranoid?
It can't. No, none of these can really spell that well. This is definitely where the Microsoft and the Chat GPTs and the Mid Journeys are all a lot better at that right now. But what I was talking about is SD3 right here. Stability AI, Stable Diffusion 3. This right here was made entirely with Stable Diffusion 3. So all that text right there was generated by the AI model. And this is exactly what Stable Diffusion 3 is all about. It's supposed to be about generating text better than any other model has been able to so far. And this is coming out, and like any day now, it was announced maybe 2 weeks ago that they were going to make it public. So this is going to be the one to look out for. And the second it's released, that's the other benefit of using one of these sites like rundiffusion.com, is that you don't have to worry about like, oh, what do I have to install? What versions of Python? What like extra, like plugins do I have to get on my computer? Like it all happens in the cloud. So that's the first place I'll be going once this drops. I'll go to Run Diffusion.
I got a question for you. When do you think AI is going to be able to, after it generates a picture and we like that one, we say, okay, I want you to regenerate that same exact picture, but add this to it. When do you think we're going to be there?
We've already got that. It's actually called all Stable Diffusion.
I'm talking about ChatGPT. When do you think they're going to do it?
Well, they've already got it. This came out a long time ago. It's called Instruct Pix to Pix. And this is like the technology that runs Pix to Pix exists inside of a lot of these systems. It's kind of built into them by now, but it's exactly what you just described. So it says right here, right? What can Instruct Pix to Pix do? So here's a lady riding a horse, and they just say, turn the horse into a dragon, right? You're telling it a command, and look what it does. Bam. It turns the horse into a dragon.
But can it really do that?
Yeah. This is a real example, and this has been out for more than a year or two. Instruct Pix to Pix. It's just a separate model that gets trained.
I can tell that horse and that lady's AI though.
Oh yeah, well, especially this one too. If you actually look at it, it completely destroys.
Look at her disembodied face. It's like a disembodied demon spirit. You guys see that?
Right, but see this is a really easy fix because what they're showing you. Well, they're just showing, and I think this is a real image. I don't think the lady is AI.
She looks AI to me. I think she is.
I think it's just a low resolution image, but I think this is a real picture. I guess it doesn't really matter, but just like, so once you take the image and you've got this, which is obviously all butchered, now you can take this guy and put it into that same thing we were just using, image to image, and say realistic photo of a lady riding a dragon, and it'll regenerate all this and keep it all in place, but just enhance everything. And if you do that a few times in a row, it becomes realer and realer every single time you do it.
Dude, that dragon horse is awesome, though. I do like that dragon horse.
So
I want
this was
to put me,
focus.
Tommy Truthful, on a dragon horse riding it.
I wonder if this has any instruct. Okay, it doesn't. Some of these models have that instruct model built in, and the only thing that changes is just the way that you enter your text. So if you have an instruct pix to pix model and you launch it, instead of just typing in like, generate a this, you tell it what to do. Say like, make the bird a bear, or make her shirt green. So here's all the other tools that we'll get to at some point in the future. I'll do a quick rundown. Automatic 1111 is the one that we used. Focus is the second one we used. It's basically a simplified version. Comfy is like the ultimate level. And we're going to get to this one eventually, but look at how detailed this can be, where you set up special little flags, and you can get things to be so incredibly perfect and intricate and reusable. Like this is going to be a whole other session, but Comfy UI is like the next level. SD Next is kind of an enhanced version of Automatic 1111. Not a whole lot different, a little bit faster. Forge, again, is exactly the same as the first one we used. It's just a little bit faster. And then you've got these ones. So Face Fusion is made just for swapping your face onto images and video. So if you've got like a little video clip from like a movie and you see those people posting memes where like Arnold Schwarzenegger is now in the Matrix or whatever, they're usually using something like this, and it's real easy. You just plop in the movie and you plop in the picture of someone, and it automatically detects their face and adds it into the movie. And like you don't need an app to do that.
Someone can't use this unless they have that software card, right?
No, since these are all running in the cloud, you can do all these. Like I can click launch right now and start using it, and it's running out in the internet.
An average person, paranoid, like that just has a normal setup.
No one, and this site, Run Diffusion, is how an average person would run it. If I were to run this, I've got a local version of this exact thing. Like here's my where's my? I'll show you all the ones that I have installed. Here we go. So here's my all the different apps that I use locally. A lot of them are in the cloud, right? So text generation web UI, that's this one right here. That's this Uba Booga, which is basically like a open source version of ChatGPT. And this is the one you can ask it all sorts of different questions, and it doesn't tell you no most of the time, and you can get like specialist versions. So that's what that one is. This Forge and Stable Diffusion are the ones that we looked at, along with Focus, right? But these are all ones that I'm running locally on my computer, that even if I had no internet connection, all this would still run perfectly. But this one here, everything here running in the browser, you don't need a computer. You could run this on an iPad if you wanted, because all of the hardware is out on the internet somewhere.
Okay. That's cool.
That's the number one. And that's the other reason I use this, is sometimes I'm already doing something at home, right? I'm like training like a model on something, and I also want to like generate text or generate an image. Well, I can't do more than a few things on my local computer because it's already using my video card up. So I'll pop over to Run Diffusion and I'll keep working on here, knowing that as soon as I land on something that I like, I can just take all the settings and run it locally, and it'll work exactly the same because it's the exact same software.
You've created some crazy things, bro. Like, what's up with old Jeffrey? You got any pictures we could show the people?
So if you go to,
get us in trouble though.
Here, no, I'm gonna open it in a private tab, because then it won't show any of the bad models. So it's a private tab. So like we were talking before, what if it doesn't know what a Nephilim is, right? And a good example is like, what if it doesn't know what a Jeffrey Epstein is? So this website is called civit.ai, civitai, which is a Latin word. And the first thing that's really cool about it is you can just go around and look at what other people are generating. And like, I really like this owl that's like made out of wood. This actually looks really cool. And the cool part about it is that I can go over here into the prompt and I can see exactly what they typed to generate this particular image. And I can take all this text and I can generate this myself now and make it look exactly like this owl and tweak it. But the other thing is that you said, Epstein. So if I go up here and type Epstein, Here's my 2 different Jeffrey Epstein models that I've uploaded. See, by Paranoid American. So here I'll click on this one, and here's old buddy Jeffrey Epstein. This one took, I think, maybe like 4 hours to train, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but it came out okay. So here's the prompt, right?
Wait,
the prompt
that
is
so real, dude.
Jeffrey Epstein driving an ice cream truck, holding cones of ice cream, professional photo shoot, 12K, ultra high detailed, skin texture, detailed face. And then at the very end, it says Laura Jeffrey Epstein. This is the custom model I trained, Jeffrey Epstein 07. And it gives it a weight down here. And then here's all the other settings, but like here's some other versions of it, right?
Oh, dude, that's scary. You know they're gonna hit you with that 47 for the Mason shit, but whatever. I like it. That is scary. Imagine seeing Jeffrey Epstein at Chuck E. Cheese.
And I've got John Podesta on here. Here's John Podesta. He was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. He's the one that talked about the walnut sauce.
Yeah,
so that's why he's got the walnuts here, and he's got the jar of walnuts. And then I've got him playing ping pong in a basement. And here he is as a pizza monster. Look at the eyes behind him. There's like a evil pizza monster behind him, and he's made out of pizza. So
funny, dude.
And here he is dripping with cheese as a pizza monster. So this is just like some of the fun things that you can do with. And who's the homie that just died recently? Rothschild, right? Look at this, Jacob Rothschild, Laura. So here he is holding up a red shield.
That don't really look like him, though.
And this is him. Oh, well, here's some better ones. That one looks way more like him.
A little. It doesn't have the right nose.
There he is as the Joker.
The nose
is Freddy Krueger. There he is as the dude from Lord of the Rings, Golem.
I like the one with the red shield, though. That's close. It's just the nose. You got to get the nose more pointy.
Yeah, what was hard is getting it to all do it in one go. So what I would do is generate it until it gets close, and just like we were doing before, that in painting, and then I would just like have it do his nose. Jacob Rothschild.
No. It says life for a shield.
Oh, because the prompt says close-up portrait of Jacob Rothschild as Lucifer holding a red shield, standing on a pile of money, hellfire in the background. So there's the fire in the background, there's the money, but he was supposed to be Lucifer, but it kind of drew like a statue of Lucifer behind him, and you can see it was trying to say Lucifer shield, and down here it was trying to say Lucifer.
So you could fix that though, right?
Yeah, this was just a one shot. I didn't actually bring this in and do all that in painting. I literally just typed this one prompt and hit go, and this is what came out, and I uploaded it just to show how flexible the model is.
You got to work on that model. Because if you would show that to me randomly, I would not think of Jacob Rothschild. What about you guys in the comments?
I mean, if you saw the dude holding a red shield, I would hope at least it would give it.
Pull the real guy up.
Trying to see if my Ghislaine Maxwell will show up here. Here's the Ghislaine Maxwell model.
Now that looks real. Your Jeffrey's on point too. But the real Jacob,
I don't know, man. It looks pretty damn similar to him, man.
You're tripping. His teeth and his nose are different.
Let's do a little A/B comparison here.
Yeah, do an A/B comparison. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
I mean, it's not perfect. It definitely needs a little bit more training, but let's see. I mean, that's pretty damn close, dude. It might not be perfect, but that's damn close, in my opinion.
It's close. But it's something about his mouth, that little reptilian mouth he has.
Well, if you notice, he doesn't have. He's not showing his teeth here.
Yeah, he looks like he wants to.
I don't know, dude. I mean, this is damn. I would say it's like 80% of the way there, maybe 90% of the way there.
It is close, but if
he looks too friendly on the right, he doesn't look.
It's not the nose. I thought it was the nose. It's the teeth. It's his mouth.
And I try to train my models with images with their mouth closed, just because AI does struggle with teeth sometimes, the same way that it struggles with hands.
Yeah, you just got to tell it to have some reptilian looking humanoid teeth. And you got him. You got him. That's all.
But this, I mean, that's how you would do the same thing though. So if there's like someone that the AI just isn't able to generate, you would train it. And if you don't know how to train it yourself, then you go to the Civit AI website and you just search and try to find someone. So like I've got a bunch of different celebrities on here. If we did let's say, it was going to know what Joe Biden is, for example, but like Lauren Boebert, right? Lauren Boebert. There's a bunch, like 4 or 5 different people made one. Here's my version of her, which this one's not perfect. This one probably could have had more training on it.
Yeah, dude, pretty soon in a couple of years,
Goth Boebert.
It's going to be replacing like everything. I already think, dude, that they're so advanced now that they have AI creating movies, AI writing whole scripts to shows. The news articles are probably being generated by AI. I think it's on a whole nother level already, dude. And they got the shit that we can't even detect. You know.
Well, if you just go and look for real-time stable diffusion, there's all sorts of examples of people doing this. Like a lot of artists are doing this recently. Like for example, I'm not gonna play the video, but the image you see on the left, right? They're drawing that in real time and it's piping it over to stable diffusion and then using AI to generate it. So you can see that it's like generating the same version that they're drawing, but just a better version. So then if they were to draw like wings behind her, like really crappy versions of wings, then the AI would take over and make it look like realistic wings. So this is going to be like the next level for how I think a lot of artists might end up working, is they're just doing like really sketchy shorthand stuff or even detailed stuff. But at the same time, they'll have like a little AI helper that's constantly rendering a version like, oh, by the way, here's what it would look like if you painted it. Oh, by the way, here's what it looked like if it were in watercolor. And at any point, you could be like, oh, I actually like that. Let's go with that watercolor version. And then it opens up a whole new workflow that no one's used to yet.
Well, I'm seeing something behind the scenes real quick.
So this is wild. This stuff is really interesting. The big one is going to be Stable Diffusion 3. That one's coming out soon. And the latest one that came out was called Stable Diffusion Turbo, and that's what they use to do a lot of this real time stuff. And I'll start wrapping this up here, but that's probably the next thing that we'll do is we'll open up Stable Diffusion Turbo and just show you how quickly we can do some like real time stuff. And man, at some point, we got to get you on Comfy, because I think that what I showed you today on how to do all the inpainting, that's sort of like the very first baby step to get into all this. But the like advanced level, right? If you're like right now you're in the first degree, and we're gonna get you to the second degree soon. But this right here is like the 33rd degree.
33rd degree. Oh shit! Yeah, we got to get there. I'm sorry, I was reading these articles about them talking about nuclear detonations and stuff. My apologies.
So let me know. We'll talk offline after we wrap this up here. And on the agenda is going to be text generation, so I could show you the difference between this and ChatGPT. We'll do the Comfy, which is more advanced images and video and audio. And then there's another one down here called AudioCraft, which you can use to do like sound effects and all kinds of other cool things. And I don't know if you've used Suno yet. Have I told you about Suno?
No.
So here's a quick one, suno.ai. It does AI music. And if you heard any of the AI music that I play on any of my shows or elsewhere, a lot of it comes from Suno. And it's very similar to the same way that ChatGPT or any of these image programs work, where you just type in a quick prompt and it just makes something for you. The coolest version of this being that it'll be copyright free. Like you own the music.
Drop that link in the chat too. And then I got to tell my people something before we go about this 44 number that I keep seeing over and over again.
Yeah, tell them about the 44. I'll write a song about it while you're talking about it.
All right. So guys, remember when we did that decode the other day with American Conspiracy, the octopus murders, and that guy died at 44. Then the survivor of the Texas fire, or the female, there was 2 females that died in the Texas fire. One was 83, one was 44. And now Joe Biden was the first president to not win the, what's it called? Primary?
The primary.
4 years. Yeah. So there's something going on with this 44 number real big right now. And I'm just thinking in my head, a few things that's 44 is HARP. I wonder if genocide's 44, because I know they're really up to that lately. So, but HARP is 44 in English ordinal. So HARP is also 17, and this is episode 17.
It is episode 17.
It's 17 in Chaldean. So talk
Which
about
ones do you use the most? Chaldean, ordinal?
Yeah, I like Chaldean. English ordinal is based on the English language, so it's really good. If you're tracing from dates, like say you got 322 days in between an event, right? You want to use Latin in that one, which is Hebrew or Hebrew or Jewish. It's just called Latin. But for tracing dates, that one works the best. So it depends on what I'm using it for. You know what I mean? If I'm doing a birthday decode on someone, it's really not about the cipher. It's more about the numbers. You're trying to look for synchronicities connected to the numbers. But Chaldean is by far the top dog. And then the second one would be what's it called?
Well, America is also 17 in Chaldean.
Yeah, pi is good too, and we're the only ones that have pi, dude.
Yeah, pi's right there, 18.
Yeah, that one's giving Chaldean a run for its money. I'm telling you that right now.
We're going to do American and Chaldean and pi just for fun to see what happens. And this is occultdecode.com, 100% free. There's not even a way you can put money into this site. It's just 100% free. All the different features, all the word searches, like there's nothing hidden from anyone using it. And yeah, here's all the different matches between Bonesman is a match between Chaldean and pi. Yeah, a bunch of different names. So this is the site, and then as I was playing it, I'm going to reshare my screen and make sure I've got audio. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to take you off.
Yeah, you took me off, but that's cool.
you got kicked out.
And then I'm wondering, why isn't he listening? But yeah, pi is a really good one. And that 36 code that you showed, which Truth Mafia is 36 in Chaldean, Neo code is 36 in Chaldean, and they say there are 36 righteous men and women born in every generation that play a role in saving the world in Judaism. That's part of their belief, right? So that 36 number, and no number is evil, guys. It's only intent behind the number, what it's being used for. And in 36, the mirror reflection, 17 in pi. Mirror evil is 15. Put CERN in. Matching evil. Yeah.
It's crazy how you've got all that like memorized.
Yeah, dude, my memory's photographic.
And here, this is while you were talking before about the number 44 and octopus murders, I just wrote in this AI a hip hop song about the number 44, mention the octopus murders in the hook. That's all I wrote, right? And I've got these 4 versions. Listen to this. I'll do that one.
I've been messing only with the bait. I got 44 ways to obliterate. Every track I touch, I annihilate.
Sounds real, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. It's better than these rappers out here.
Down the block, got my speakers on blast. I'm riding with my way moving.
That one's kind of
let me give you some lyrics to create one.
Okay,
yeah. Create one.
Are you going to give me the lyrics, or are you just going to give me like the topic?
The topic. Create one on gematria being the key to reality. Do gematria codes. We can.
Do you want a certain style of music?
No, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Anything? Okay. I'll just hit create.
Anything but rap. I'm really not the rap shit.
You want anything but rap?
You could do rap too. We could listen to.
Well, here I'll do a jazz song. I'll do a country song, and I'll do a pop song.
What was that?
That's how easy it is. Literally, just type pop song about gematria being the key to reality, and then you just sit here and wait for them to come out. So here's the jazz one.
The winding balance of thoughts, numbers intertwined, seeking truth on chords.
Another one. Here's the country.
In a world of mystery where truth is hard to find, there's a secret hidden in the numbers. It's all intertwined.
That shit is roll. I like that one.
Sitting on the porch, my mind starts to.
Here's the pop ones.
In a world of numbers, the truth unveils. Gematria has a golden key to what's real. From sacred texts.
Another pop.
Unlock the code, reveal the truth, and numbers past the proof. Oh,
I like the country one too the most.
Country one, play that country.
This one right here.
In a world of mystery where truth is hard to find, there's a secret hidden in the numbers. It's all intertwined. Gematria, the language of the universe, they say, unlocking the hidden meanings along the Milky Way.
Yeah, that's it.
Every number holds a story. Every digit has a rhyme. Gematria's the key to reality. It's there in every line. From the Fibonacci sequence to the golden ratio's grace.
Hey, send me that.
Secret.
Send me that shit, bro.
Yeah, and you can see it didn't do Fibonacci right. It spelt it wrong. So just a really quick tip on how I usually do this is you can go and click remix, right? And it'll load everything up that it used to generate that. And I'll go in here and I'll say, whatever. Instead of saying spelling it this way, you'll spell it phonetically. So it would be like Fibonacci. See what I mean? Like Fibonacci. Instead of the Italian spelling of it. And
Right.
this way it might actually help have it pronounced it the correct way on the second try. But this is something you can spend hours like fine tuning. But yes, suno.ai, highly recommended. It is like the most fun thing
send
ever.
Me that one you did?
Yeah, sent you. Look, and the cool thing too is I can just click on share link.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then bam, and there you go. There's a link to it. And now you can pull it up. And you can click remix and do whatever you want with it.
Numbers of the universe. I got it. This is gangster.
Isn't that cool, man? I spend so much time working on music.
I'm about to make the craziest song. And it's cool because you're giving the idea to it. And then you can go back in and remix it and change the lyrics a little. So that's awesome, bro.
Right, and that's usually how I start out. So like if you look here on the top, there's got this custom mode button. So when you go to the website, normally it's off, and all you do is you just describe what you want. But once you get used to like how the site works, I go in here and I just immediately go into custom mode, and I just start out with like typing what the verse is and do my lyrics and then do the hook. Or if I know what you're probably going to end up doing at some point is making a custom chat GPT bot, right? And then this thing can like do all the lyrics for you. I think I had one at one point.
What I'm gonna do.
I don't know where mine is, but I could do like write a song about gematria with a catchy hook in the style of Johnny Cash. So here you go, numbers of truth. So what I'll do is I'll see the lyrics first, and then if I want to go in here and like tweak some of it, or just rewrite it myself, is what I usually do. Is I'll end up rewriting the entire thing after I've got kind of like a theme going. But here, I'll just grab this.
That's what I would do too. You just get a theme, have it do the outline of the theme, and then I'll fix the lyrics myself.
So here you go. So I copied the verse lyrics from ChatGPT. They're up there. And the trick is you put the word verse in these hard brackets like that. And then in this style of music. Another really cool thing that you can use ChatGPT for is be like, describe the style of Johnny Cash in 4 words or less. Oh, it's still writing this damn. This is a long song. It just finished. Okay, here. Describe the style of Johnny Cash. There we go. Raw, somber, heartfelt storytelling. Well, I know that's not going to be perfect because it needs the word country in there. So I'm going to do raw storytelling country. We'll see what that sounds. And what Johnny Cash, we'll do like 70s raw storytelling country. Create. And there's another option here too for advanced users. Version 3 just came out, so we'll give that a shot too. So now we've got these 4 different songs cooking, and none of them are going to sound like Johnny Cash. That was just to kind of get like the lyrics and the theme together. But here, we'll see what some of these sound like in a second.
Yeah, you got to mess with how it pronounces gematria too, because it kind of sounded like
it's a gematria. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gematria.
Yeah, well, that's where you have to like start weaving in and out. Sometimes you just keep having it generate over and over, and it'll get it on like the second or the third try.
But there was a lot of these morons out here that pretend like they know what they're doing in gematria, and they were teaching way before I came, and they were teaching us wrong. They were teaching us how to pronounce it wrong, what ciphers to use wrong, telling us to use ciphers mixed together that didn't work together, you know, and not only that, their calculator is total garbage. They've changed it like 4 times now where it had the wrong codes in it.
Well, that's the whole reason the occult decode even exists. It was because, like, specifically you were like, man, this calculator sucks and it's hard to find the matches and they're missing some of the ciphers. And then I found out that they were doing some of the math incorrect. So that was the reason that we got together and made this occult decode together.
Yep. And that's the one, guys, I have embedded on truthmafia.com. It's just it's a version of occult decode that I embedded on my website or on truthfultv.com, the one you guys use. It's just it's that same calculator embedded on my website.
And then here's the
band word on there. Show them the band words. So this is why I always put the link for occult decode, because we use certain words so we don't get in trouble on YouTube. And you might be like, why do they keep saying that word? You can just go over on occult decode, throw it in, and be like, oh, okay. That's
right. And this one was made for streamers to use too, which is why you see that it's blurred out in this screen share mode. I'm not going to click that, but if I were to click that, it would unblur the word that you're not allowed to say on YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Yep. I say it a lot on Facebook, though.
Yeah, it's hit and miss, man. With election season ramping up, they might.
They're going to start. Yeah, they're. It's time to purge. They're getting ready to purge. So,
but you can see how many damn words these are all words that we have verified could potentially get you either demonetized or flagged or anything. There's so many, and we're always adding to this list.
Yeah, you gotta
a rude buddy, a critter cuddle. Yeah, like you'll have to go to the site and figure out what that means. So here, let's do the last 4 songs, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. I'm interested to see what these sound like.
The heart of the world where secrets lie way under the veil.
Another quick pro tip: whenever you see this, like where secrets lie, that sounds so damn AI. I've seen AI come with that phrase so many times.
The heart of the world, secrets lie under the veil of the night sky. In the heart of the world, where secrets lie under the veil of the night sky. There's a story untold.
That one's a little weird, but I like it. Like I know that it doesn't sound like a human, but I like the style of it.
In the heart of the world, where secrets lie.
Sounds way more realistic.
Under the veil of the night sky, there's a story untold in numbers bold. where wisdom's bought and never sold. It's gematria, the ancient art, where each letter's a world apart, and every number holds a key.
That one was starting to jam out a little bit, man.
Yeah, do it Jamaican real quick before we go.
Okay, yeah. I'll do
Real ancient.
a reggae dub Jamaican.
Let's see what
Great.
we got.
And how we'll even do like a reggae punk ska. And the V3 takes a little bit longer sometimes, forgot that. And the V3 isn't necessarily better, it's just different. So sometimes the V2 actually sounds better. So here's the reggae ones.
Give up that lifestyle feeling. Give up that lifestyle feeling. In the heart of the world, where secrets lie.
In the heart of the world, the secrets lie. Under the veil of the night sky, there's a story untold in numbers 4, where wisdom falls.
That was
Yeah,
kind
sent
of
you a link to that one. That one's not bad. And then here's the ska ones. Let's see.
In the heart of the world, where secrets lie, under the veil of the night sky, the story untold. In the heart of the world of the word, where secrets lie, under the veil of the night sky, there's a story untold in numbers.
So I mean, it's nailing the genres, man. It's getting them right.
Yeah, but that Jamaican one, I think that could go. If we tweak that one, we could make that go viral.
So I'll do like a deep evil Jamaican dub and see dub reggae. I think it almost needs to have like a mysterious. I'll add instead of deep evil, we'll do like mysterious. And there's another one that I like to use is haunting. You do like a haunting Jamaican dub reggae. And dude, this is how I easily will burn up like hours.
Songs, though.
What?
And look how fast it's making these. And Paranoid American, you're making some money off of some of these songs, ain't you, bro?
Yeah, well, yeah. So shout out if you go on Spotify or if you go to hiphopproduction.com, which is a website that I've owned since like 2000. I've had this for over 20 years. But hiphopproduction.com, you can go on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, any of the places that you normally go and find music. And I've got a bunch of albums that are, some are AI generated, some aren't. You'll have to figure out which ones are which, but they're all good music, every single one of them. And I've got a actual repertoire. So like if you watched Adult Swim back in the early 2000s, you might have seen some of my music played in between Venture Brothers, in between Boondocks, in between all your favorite Adult Swim shows. A lot of my music, if you look at the bottom, yeah, bro, I've got like 40 or 50 different ones that were played on Adult Swim. That's how I got into animation and
you're a
comics and everything.
Little dude, man. So was that before Disney?
This was before. This was when I was still in the military. I was putting music up on Adult Swim.
Oh, bro, I want to show you something before we go. That just reminded me. So, have you seen these new cases with Nickelodeon?
Yes. There's a new documentary coming out.
Yeah, but okay, so that got me thinking. I'm like, all right, what is this whole Nickelodeon thing? So can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me show you guys this. And this is the video that I know I put so much work into it, guys. If you're on Facebook, hold on, let me show you real quick. So, if you're on my big Facebook family, I did this video a couple days ago. And this is how I know they changed Facebook, because usually a video like this that I do would be at 200, 300,000 views by now. And it's only got like, I think 1,000 views. But I'm not going to click on this one because this is a whole video. It goes into like a little mini documentary on the whole thing. But what I was going to show you guys real quick is, hold on. Oh, that's another one that I made last night. Where's the one? Hold on, right here. So Nickelodeon in all lower cases, which is what I'm pretty sure they use a lot too, if I'm not mistaken. In Latin, it literally means I don't care about God. Ain't that crazy, bro?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that all these things are baked in, because someone was telling Cheney from Project Cheney was telling me that Nickelodeon, like the actual Nickelodeons, they used to be like adult films, and it was like a pervy guy would walk by, pop a nickel in, and kind of get his rocks off real quick, and then make on with his day. That was one of the ideas of this Nickelodeon. It was almost like a little peep show.
Wow, I can see that. And so then Nickelodeon and Gematria guys in Chaldean is 47, matching the pedophile energy harvest, Cain bloodline. And that's really what it is with them kids. It's all about harvesting energy. I mean, Crowley wrote about that, where he was talking about a prepubescent boy with a high IQ being the purest form of energy.
Yeah, this is a part of Moonchild.
At least that's what the rumor is. Did he really say that? I can't say yes or no, but that's what people say he said, right?
Well, yeah, that was part of the Moonchild ceremony was supposed to be based on some of that. And I want to throw out too that the word nickel in Nickelodeon was also known as the devil's metal. Just the word nickel. So there's so many different weird threads in that word Nickelodeon, both on breaking it down and what it actually meant and the things it represents now. It's a huge deep dive that you can keep going down.
Now, go on. Since you're on there, I want you to do it live. Go from Latin to English translate and spell Nickelodeon in all lower cases, because I want them to see it's got to go from Latin to English. And it's got to be lower cases. I found that out.
What am I doing wrong here?
I don't know.
Is that right? Nick Kello Dion?
Hold on, let me see. How did I spell it on? Yeah. NICKELODEO.
Doesn't look like it's translating anything for me.
Yeah, that is not translating. So you're on the wrong site or something. Don't use Google. Just go to like that ain't translating.
Does Babblefish still exist? That's what I remember from way back in the day. So we'll do from
Latin to
do they
English.
have? I don't think they have Latin. Here, let's see what ChatGPT says.
It worked for me instantaneously, so I got a video showing me doing it live. Yeah, let me do it on my phone and see what site I was using. Translate from Latin to English. Here we go. Okay, Latin to English. Oh, it's got to be lowercase NICK.
Bing doesn't even have Latin.
DEO. Okay, done. That's weird. This one it's doing the same thing Google did.
They might have changed it because there was a few other these that people were running through, and as soon as it got big and people started sharing it, it stopped doing the translations.
Wow, that's so grimy that they do that. Yeah, because this thing, it wasn't just me that found it. Disinformation Hub, his video went viral. Shout out to him.
That's why they changed it.
Yep, his video went viral on it. So that's crazy. Thank God I recorded that, because you could clearly see me copy and paste it in there, and it spells it right in front of you. That's crazy that they changed it though.
Let's check out these Jamaicans.
It's doing the same thing to me too, bro, on here. when I translate.
That's pretty typical, man. That happens very often. I mean, every time one of these comes up and everyone can search it, by the time it spreads far enough, it gets removed.
Well, but that should be illegal. How can you just remove it when that's what it means? You know what I mean?
A little part of the world where secrets lie on the veil of the night sky.
Little too sing-songy. That one sounds a little too AI.
In the heart of the world where secrets lie.
Also sounds too AI.
In the heart of the world where secrets lie, under the veil of the night sky, there's a story untold in numbers bold, where wisdom's bought and never sold. It's gematria.
Well, we can fix that gematria by probably adding like a GH, like gematria. There's probably a few different ways to go
right here. It is, bro. I don't care about God. It just did it for me.
You want to show your screen just so we've got proof of it documented before they change it again?
Yeah. Here, I'm going to send you this link to your phone because I'm on my cell phone. Can you pull that up if I send it to your phone?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here you go. Damn it. I want the link.
In the heart of the world, the secrets lie.
I still like the country one the best out of all those.
Yeah, countries, to me, I don't know. I grew up in the hood, but I'm a country fan.
I'm going to give that one a thumbs up so I can find it again.
Yeah, let me screenshot this too, because that would be crazy if it tries to do that again.
So here's the link that you sent me, but it's just the same thing, right? Nick, hello.
There it is.
It's you know what? You can't have the N at the end. That's what it is. If you put the N, it goes away. But if you don't have the N, then it says, I don't care about God.
But mine had the N on it. Oh, it's D-O. Okay, yeah, D-O. Nickelodeo. Right, Nickelodeo. I don't care about God. Damn. That's pretty crazy, though, right?
I mean, I'll take them for their word. If they want to say it, I'll believe them. That's one of my theories, right? That believe what people tell you. So if someone tells you that by their name that this is what it means, then I'm just going to believe you.
I mean, they're going to say, now look up, what does Nickelodeon mean, the words? Let's see what they say it means.
I always do etymology, so you can see
what is the etymology on this?
So Nickelodeon's a combination of the word nickel and the word melodian. So I know what nickel means, but I don't know what melodian is. Melodian's a small accordion of German origin. So it basically means a nickel-fed melodian, I guess. Keyboard musical instrument with metal rods surrounded by a revolving cylinder. What? So I guess it was like a melodian that you would put a nickel in, hence the word Nickelodeon.
Oh, and nickel is the devil's metal.
Right. So the devil's metal of a melodian. And melodian, I mean, this is where I like etymology. You can just keep breaking down and say, okay, well, what's the etymology of melodian? And you've probably got melode as in melody, as in music. And then eon being kind of like the thing that makes it. So this is like the thing that makes music from the devil's silver.
Yeah. And it's good to break it down, guys. This is how you decode, because then you can find out why they're using the word. You know what I mean? It's really, because you would be a fool to think that they don't know this. I don't believe that Nickelodeon doesn't know that in Latin it means I don't care about God. I think they do know that, and that's part of the reason they picked the fucking word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then melody, 1300, succession of agreeable music sounds from the French melody from music from the 12th century. And then it just keeps going, up through time. So then you got the 14th century, it means a song of clear and balanced form. By the 1600s, it meant the principal voice part in a harmonic composition. Look how crazy that is. So by the time it's 1880, melody specifically means the part that someone sings in a song. But if you go back to 1300s, melody just could have meant instrumental music or a succession of musical sounds. So it kind of does mean both of those things now. But
Yep.
it's like takes on all this context. That's why etymology is like such an important thing.
So, but I wonder why Nickelodeon has this whole music connection to it.
1888, it was the name of a theater in Boston. In 1909, it became a motion picture theater for nickel 5 cent Odeon, as in Melodian Music Hall, from the Greek building for musical performances, which is an Odeon. So it basically means a nickel jukebox.
Is the
So
and is that what your friend was talking about? They were watching like some perv stuff.
Yeah, because you would just walk by, you'd pop a 5 cent piece in. No one else can see what you're looking at because the way that the old Nickelodeon. Do we have a picture of an old Nickelodeon?
Yeah, so it's pretty much where the pedos could go watch their little weird stuff. It was porn, pre-porn.
1880s. See if something comes up. There we go. So this is what a real Nickelodeon looks like, which I guess I'm just assuming, but that's because I like lived at Disney World for 10 years and they had these all over the place in the park. But here you go. So you would put 5 cents in this machine, you would stick your eyes into this little viewer, and you would spin this little knob here. And as you would spin that knob, it would just rotate images. So if they had a picture, or if they had like a bunch of different pictures of like a lady dancing, you would go there and you would see the little lady dancing and you pay 5 cents to do it. And that's basically all Nickelodeons were. You'd pop in, you'd look at like a quick little thing and then go out. It's like a private little movie booth that only you saw. And look at this. There would just be
it was
lines.
usually sexual a lot because that's what generated money.
Correct. And that's why you've got all these private booths. Because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't really need to have it be these like individual little private things. Right.
So that's very funny that they use that in their name. I mean, it's a whole place that has been connected to victimizing children forever. Then when you take the N off and spell it in lowercase, you see, which would be the Latin version of it, you see it spells, I don't care about God.
Yeah, there's a dude using it on one of the other versions of it.
Well, God says if you hurt children, you should tie a millstone around your neck and cast yourself in the ocean. Nickelodeon. So
yeah, look at what this dude's looking at. See the image above it? It's like a lady getting dressed in a window.
Of course. That's what did it. You know, that's what a lot of them were. So that's just crazy, bro, when you really look into the layers of why they chose that word. So there's a little piece of teaching we did for you guys during this video too. Awesome.
Yeah, that's wild. Look at that. These are all Nickelodeon machines. So you would just walk up to one and no one else would know what the hell you're watching.
Wow, it's like a little arcade back in the day, right?
Well, that's exactly where arcades came from, man. Because think about it. What's an arcade? You go into a little room, you put a quarter in a machine, and you get to do something for 5 to 10 minutes. It's literally where arcades came from. We're from these Nickelodeon arcades.
That's so crazy. And dude, growing up in the 80s, well, I was really a 90s baby, but I was born in 83, but dude, I remember being 5, 6 years old and going to the arcade back then. And the arcade was so amazing back then, bro. Like these kids don't even know what they're missing. Back then, before they figured out, back then you could play on a quarter and get real good at the game and keep beating it. But then these people from MIT, they figured out how to take that game and put these edits into it that made it harder, like Space Invaders. It would give you different colors, and they were selling them programs to the arcades. You know what I'm talking about, bro?
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing.
Almost got sued for it. But then all the video places like Nintendo and Atari just ended up hiring them. They made a whole Netflix documentary series on it.
A lot of these games too, back in the day, they would have a little switch, like up here on the top right. If you reached your hand all the way up there, there's like a little slot, and you could turn the machine off and on. And if you did that like 3 times or 5 times, it would boot up in basically like the arcade owners mode. And in those modes, you had the option of setting the difficulty to certain games, and a lot of that's kind of what you're talking about. Is like some people would go in there and they would change it so that it would just be incredibly hard and it would like milk people out of their money a little bit more.
Oh no, they went a step further, brother. They actually took the hardboard out, the computer board down below, and they created a like a version of it with more colors and making it harder so you couldn't play on one quarter. And then they sold that to the arcade places where they.
Well, that's where the term quarter pushers kind of came from. It was all about like milking you of all your quarters.
Yeah, it's a Netflix series about it, dude. About Nintendo and the arcade games. It's fascinating. I forget what it was called. I just watched it the other night though, but it was really interesting because all this came out of Japan, dude. It all came out of freaking Japan.
Yeah, well, that's where Sega got popular. Sega's the one that made arcade machines that you would have to go to the arcade, and they brought them to the home console. And Sega was also the first one that had like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter that you could actually play, and it was somewhat close to what happened in the arcade.
Look that up real quick. Netflix series about Sega, because I think you're right. I think it is about Sega that I watched.
High Score?
Yep, that is it.
TV show?
Yep, that's the one I watched. Netflix series. Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's good. That guys, watch that one. Paranoid. I think you would like it too, buddy.
I think I've seen this one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And what I'm talking about in there, the model that they created, they had to go to court. What's it say about LGBT right there?
LGBT?
Finally, yeah, look down at the bottom. LGBT themed RPG Gay Blade. What is that? What is this shit?
1992 Microsoft Windows game called Gay Blade, developed by Ryan Best. Let's see. Considered lost.
This was not something you would play with your friends when we were growing up, dude. I'd never seen this game.
The world's first gay and lesbian computer game. I've never seen this before either.
Never in my life would you pull this out at the arcade.
No. Well, it says Microsoft Windows, and you can see it's like this looks like Windows 3.1.
Read what it says. The player battles.
They battle a horde of homophobic enemies, including pastors, police, rednecks, and skinheads, to rescue Empress Nelda and bring her to the castle Gaykeep. The final boss of the game is a paleo-conservative Pat Buchanan, the era's most notorious opponent of gay rights. So I guess this is supposed to be Pat Buchanan, maybe?
But that's when the internet was fun, when it looked that 90s-ish right there. I miss that internet, dude. That version of the internet is still out there, the original. But they just,
that's right. Yeah, all the GeoCities pages are still up there, and
yeah, man.
I can't remember all the different names of them, but I had a bunch of different ones on those. GeoCities was the big one, I think.
Wow, I had fun doing this episode with you, bro.
Yeah, man, I think we got to do this again because I love going back and forth where it's like, oh, let me try this, and then like I pass the baton to you and vice versa. I think that maybe one of the next steps is we can work on like a really cool image, and then once like we dial in like a really perfect image, like the one that I made for the thumbnail for this episode is one of my favorite ones that I've seen from you, is this one right here with like the little reptilian that's like, you know, cut in half kind of in the hoodie.
Yeah, because vampire and reptilian both equal 30 in Chaldean, and me and Ani Asoru did an episode on vampires and reptilians, and you can find that on my YouTube. It's phenomenal. One of the best episodes we did. It has that thumbnail right there, actually, without the little eagle guy.
So we could take this image maybe in the next one and turn it into a video, which would be really like, I can show you how to do this in 5 minutes, and it would probably change your game even more because now you've got little animated thumbnails you can use.
Yeah, I'm down with that. And I was also, I'll talk to you offline. I think we should do some episodes on like old games like that one that no one's ever heard of. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I actually just got all my old Sega Master System games that my parents dumped on me like a couple weekends ago. So I need to start going through them. So that could be really perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Ann said, I want Tommy to make a video game. Well, me and Paranoid are talking about making something. I've ran it by him a couple different times. He actually has made numerous video games, guys.
Actually, if anyone's watching, there's a game called, let's see if I can find it. Steam. It's called Lucifer Lives in Lower Manhattan. It's on Steam right now. You can add it to your wish list. It's not released yet, but you can add it to your wish list. And
I've seen this whole game. It's so awesome, guys.
And this is basically 2 to 3 years of research that started into Satanism, and then it branched into Freemasonry, and then it branched into Hollywood. And it got to a certain point where it was like, no one's even going to believe this. And if I put it in a book, then it's not going to reach as many people as it should. And if I put it in a comic, it's going to take like 200 pages and take me like 10 years to do. So making it into a video game made so much more sense because the whole plot of the game is based on a real story. The story is the premise of this movie in the 1930s called Cat People, and another one called The Seventh Victim. And the writer of The Seventh Victim was invited to an actual satanic coven. And this is again in like the late 1930s. So the whole story is based on you're that guy that gets invited to the satanic coven. It happens in this apartment building, and you're meeting all these different Satanists. And you go around and you can knock on the doors and meet everyone that lives in the building. They're all in the occult, and they've all got different little like side quests and missions that you have to go on. You've got to solve murders. It's an incredible game that's like research mixed with an actual video game. So yeah, Lucifer Lives in Lower Manhattan. If you play games, if you've got Steam, just go and add it to your wish list so you're notified when it comes out. But this is the very first Paranoid.
When's this one coming out?
Whenever I finish it. It's like 90% done. I've got to get like 6 more backgrounds added, and I just need to do a build. And it'll be this year. It'll be out this year.
This is all pre-AI. None of this is created with AI.
Correct. Yeah. No, I mean, I would have used AI, but AI didn't exist at the level it does now when I started this. And when I got maybe halfway done, I didn't want to make it like half AI and half illustrated. So yeah, all this is 100% human, organically grown, everything from the music to the artwork to the writing, everything. And it'll work on Mac. It'll work on PC. It'll even work on the little Steam Deck. And I think we're going to get it for like Linux, but no one really plays games on Linux.
Which will be the last probably all human generated game.
Yeah, at least for a while. And yeah, so everyone that wants Tommy to make a game, I mean, if this one is even a little bit successful, my goal is that when you go here and click on Paranoid American as the game developer, there'll be more than just this one game. I want to have like 20 down here. And just like I was showing the Chaos Twins earlier before, that's kind of my secret agenda, ultimate idea is that this turns into a game as well. Because even after the first 6 issues are done, there's so much more of the story that we want to tell that will make it really possible in a game where you can go and click around on every door and click on every cryptid and every monster and have all these side quests, which you can't really do in a comic book because you got a limited number of pages. So that's what's really exciting about these.
I'm working on this full book right now that I wanted to bring to you as a project. And I used AI to lay out a storyline, and then I would go and do the chapters myself. And it was kind of on the Avatar project where the storyline to it is that they were using technology which allowed us to interface in other dimensions. And these entities, when they were trying to go into these other dimensions to talk to higher entities, they ended up getting kind of possessed by these entities from the lower astral plane, known as the A sphere, which I talk about a lot. And it's all about black goo and programmable matter. And it's really fascinating. I'm going to send you the thing for it today, Paranoid, and you tell me when you get time, read it and see if it's something that you would like. Because I already got like 7 chapters done, bro.
I love the idea. I think we talked about this a while ago, like last year, and I'm all in, man. And I
It's
actually
called The
think
Dawn of the AI Protocol, is what it's called.
I think I could convince you to turn it into a game and get you set up on this, because I actually, for the next iteration, I'm working on an AI that can create this game, like can do all the code and everything. So I'll get you hooked up with that, and you'll be an absolute animal, man. Because you could generate all the artwork, all the audio, all the text, everything on your own.
Yeah, and it's because what gave me the idea to even write this book is quantum entanglement. You know, I was watching that new Apple TV. What's it called? Damn it! It's the one where she's up in space, and I can't remember the name of it now. But I just did a blog on it anyways. But I was watching this new Apple TV thing, and it was all about quantum entanglement, how someone can exist here in the physical, but the dead version. Constellation, there you go. Yeah. And the dead version of them can exist too. So it's so fascinating, the whole series, if you haven't watched it yet, guys. And that's what gave me the idea. And yeah, I'm like, how many chapters am I in on this thing? And they're long chapters too. I'm actually on chapter 4.2. Chapter 4.2 is what I'm at. But it's a nice outline. Yeah, I want to send it to you, see what you think, what we could do with it. Because I was thinking like turn it into a thick comic book type thing. But if you think a game would be better.
Well, the thing is that a thick comic, in my experience, 20 pages is a single issue. And when you say thick, I'm thinking at least 4 to 6 issues, which is going to be somewhere between 80 to 100 pages. And now we're getting into like a year or more worth of artwork time. But if it were a game, there's a lot less time that you're waiting on artwork, and all the time ends up going into the writing. But then if you're writing it yourself, then there's actually like you could get a game that does way more story done in a less time than a comic book you could get done.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk about it more, man. I will be excited to get like a game going, because a game is something that, unlike a book, you can like play it over 20 times and get 20 different experiences out of it. And I guess you can kind of do that with a book or a movie, but it's way different because the game actually lets you take different paths. Like, oh, I'm going to do this again, but when I get to chapter 2, I'm not going to eat the black goo. And then the game completely changes from there out.
And all the stuff I'm researching is real stuff that they're doing. Like, look, guys, there's peer-reviewed studied papers. I got a blog about it on truthmafia.com where they got this technology that they're working on where they can shadow someone, meaning they will be able to, through a human to brain interface, be able to jump into other people's bodies. And so what they're saying is they want you to be able to experience someone else's life across the world, right? It'll help you be more empathetic and all this bullshit. But the real thing is they want to be able to, what I'm thinking is these old people that are dying, these old reptilians jumping into little children's bodies and living forever. You know, that's what I'm thinking. They're going to try to do some crazy shit. But yeah, man, it's definitely interesting, bro. And quantum entanglement, like the black goo, the graphene oxide, which we all know what that's in. Just think of it like this: it's entangling your DNA with another entity from a parallel dimension, allowing that entity to use your vessel as an avatar.
You're like an Uber. You're like an alien Uber.
You're like an Uber, dude. And it's Ubering with you. And I think eventually the consciousness of the people that have that in them will die off or fade to the back, and that entity will take over. Now, that's just a theory of mine. You know what I mean?
I mean, it would make for an awesome video game, man.
But with tonight, I'm going to release the conversation I did with AI where it tried to lie about nanotechnology, third strand DNA. And I will release that tonight and show you the technology they have already that they try to lie to you about.
Hey, what time are you airing that tonight?
I'll get that out here in a couple hours. Probably about 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll only be on my Facebook and Instagram because I can't put that on YouTube.
Well, and speaking of can't put that on YouTube, I appreciate you streaming this to your audience. The only reason I'm not streaming this on my YouTube is because I recently got a strike. I was being a bad boy. But I will never do it again. I'll be a good boy from now on, and I'll start live streaming again in a week when my ban gets lifted. But yeah, hit me up on YouTube at Paranoid American, paranoidamerican.com. I'm on Twitter as Paranoid America without the N because they didn't have enough room. And yeah, just follow me. I've got like AI artwork coming out, games, comics, music, everything you saw here and more, and lots more coming between me and Tommy. So I expect to do a whole bunch more of these AI episodes with you.
Yep. And I'll tag him. I'll go back on the Facebook, guys, and tag his Facebook page in the description. And make sure you follow him on Rumble, too, because then if his YouTube page is gone, you can go over to his Rumble and it'll be there. You guys know my Rumble, Truth Mafia TV, but Paranoid has one, too. And
yep, Paranoid American. I'm almost at 300 followers. You can come hook me up and look at all the content that's on.
Drop the link in the comments for him.
Okay.
Go follow him, guys. So
he's got a better link than that one,
dude.
Right?
You're one of the only ones, I swear to God, that I actually watch your videos.
I appreciate that
because they're fascinating. Like that one you did with that girl, the bodybuilder chick. She was so on point about manifestation, bro. I just wanted to jump in that conversation. And me and you got a video coming up with her, right, Abby?
Yeah, we're going to be doing conspiracy cinema with Abby and talking about the OA. And it's also funny enough that dude, you know what's crazy is right as you said that, this is the other person that I invited. This is Owen Hunt. Also, he goes by the name Bootsy Greenwood. Look what number episode he was on my show.
17.
Number 17. Wow. And he was also invited to come and hang with us and talk about the OA because Bootsy and Abby, they've got a show together called Reality Transurfing. And the whole concept of reality transurfing is what Abby was talking about on my show. And just as a preview for anyone that hasn't seen it, it is the most wild concept, but that they're into lucid dreaming. Abby's like really big into dream interpretation and how to do
scroll down a little bit on there. Yeah,
what are you looking for?
No, I just wanted to get somebody off the screen.
Oh, okay. So she was describing this way that they have these Russian dream hackers. And what they do is they figure out how to do lucid dreaming, which is a pretty common practice now. A lot of people have techniques how to do it. But what they were doing is they were lucid dreaming their way into John Dee's laboratory, who was like an alchemist for the Queen in like, I think the 18th century. But they go in this lucid dream and they see that he's got a computer, like a 1980s style computer. And they hack into the computer in the dream. And by doing that, somebody found like source code. And this source code they brought back into the waking world. And they're actually trying to use this dream hack source code to hack real dreams. And the way that Abby described it was that she actually was able to basically look behind the curtain of dreaming. And she got kicked out of lucid dreaming and didn't have any dreams for like a year and slowly had to like get back into it. So there's like a wild world.
She's telling it. Dude, that video was so fascinating. And she was telling the truth about a lot of stuff because, you know, in REM sleep, lucid dreaming, we are going somewhere else. And my people know if you ever got a reading from me, I talk about the dream walking all the time, like with the Neo code, where there's certain people with the ability that can go into other people's dreams and pull them out of dreams and pull them into their own dreams. Right. So
this is the video right here. It's a Paranoid American Podcast 47, Russian Dream Hackers with Abby Johnson. And this is a crazy episode.
That was one of my favorite episodes you did. It's so good, guys. You should really go watch it. Trust me on that. You'll like it. It's completely fascinating. And she tells you about manifestation and everything she's talking about on how to manifest is so spot on. Like a lot of people talk about manifestation, but they really don't know what they're talking about. She does really good at that. I can't wait to do. And bro, she was so right for picking OA because I'm on like season or episode 5 now. and I can't wait to dissect that. It's
Yeah, I don't even want to give any spoilers, but she like I was kind of making fun of some of the stuff. Like they do this weird dance and she
I
started sending
seen
me
it.
these links, bro. And she was like, no, it's funny, but also check this link out. And it blew my mind. Like I don't want to give it away. People are gonna have to watch the episode, but like I don't really believe in woo-woo stuff. I'm a pretty damn big skeptic, and this is
You
blowing
are.
my
He
mind.
is.
Like I'm way more open to all this lucid dreaming and dream hacking, way more than I would have been if I hadn't seen OA and the links that she was sending me.
Brother, I'm telling you, the military and DARPA have been spending billions of dollars on this stuff, bro. So there's something to it, man. You know what I mean? I think they have the ability already to hack our dreams. I mean, there's theories out there that they can actually transfer our consciousness into simulations while we're dreaming and torture you over and over and over again. And then you wake up like, with you'll have pains and stuff, but you won't have no marks from it, but you would feel all that pain like it was really happening to you. There's been so many accounts of this taking place. It's kind of crazy, but
they show all that in the OA too.
I know, dude, something's going on there. Art imitates life, brother. But I know you.
I posted. I don't have a way to post the comments. I posted it in the private. If you want to put the Rumble link in the public chat.
Oh, okay, here I'll do it. Rumble link. I got it for you guys.
Oh, I figured out who you didn't want on the screen.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. Little Hunter. Hunter. He gets us in trouble.
The prodigal son.
The prodigal son gets us in trouble with his goofy father. But there's the link, guys, and thank you. We only planned on doing an hour and 20 minutes, and we did 2 hours and 41 minutes.
We always do, man. We always plan on doing it short, and it always goes long because like we're just vibing, bro. So when we get in the flow, I guess don't stop.
Yep. And thank you, brother. I really appreciate you having me on. I had a lot of fun this episode.
Thank you, man. If anyone wants any special requests on a song that we should make, on an image, on a video, anything at all AI generated, if anyone wants to know how to do it and they feel like it's too hard or it's too complicated or you don't have the right computer, all that's BS. You can do all this stuff for free, quick, within 5 minutes. We spend a lot of time because we go into the detail, but I would love to do a show where maybe we just get like, here's the top 10 requests, and we just show how to do every one of those requests in like 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. We could do that too. Couple short versions of this. And before we go, do you have any new comics out right now?
Actually, so I'm going to pull up chosenone.com. If I got my screen's not up here, I'll do it again. So chosenone.com will bring you to this Kickstarter page. And this is a comic that I've been working on with Juan from the One on One podcast, but it's also got Sam Tripoli, XG, and Johnny from the Tinfoil Hot podcast. It's got Mark from My Family Thinks I'm Crazy. It's even got Alex Stein in this episode, and it's going to be absolutely insane. We call a lot of shots in here. This might ruffle some feathers because
I gotta watch that one.
We're calling some people out in this particular episode within the conspiracy quote unquote community. So
give me that link too. Give me that link. I'll drop it in the comments for the people real quick.
I'm typing it in right now. And this is just chosenone.com, and it'll bring you here automatically, so you don't have to remember this long ass link.
Chosen One, which
chosenone.com.
He's now in the Gematria calculator because I seen him in there the other night when I was decoding. I'm like, who the hell put Chosen One in here?
There it is, Chosen One. Let's see what it matches up with.
I seen him in there. Scroll up. Yeah, 41 in Chaldean. But that's not, there's no such thing as evil numbers. That's where people get messed up. It's just intent. Just because your number's 47 doesn't mean it's bad. Now they use it for negativity, right? And like,
I don't know, man. Look, Aleister Crowley matches up with Chosen One.
But he talks about that a lot. I mean, it's just an organic source code, bro. It was chosen. A lot of stuff he probably talks about is in there, you know?
American Shaman, Angel of Death, and Coulter.
Angus Cloud's in there too with Chosen One. What else is in there?
Anton S. LaVey with his middle name.
Yeah, why do they put the S in there? Anton
Apple
S.
juice. Sometimes it's fun to just go to Occult Decode and just plug in like some random, like you find like a new word out or you meet a new person and plug their name in.
Pull them up in Latin. 1037. That's a very magical number. Chosen One in Latin right there. 137, which
let's see what else matches in Latin.
Well, we don't have a big database in Latin, unfortunately.
Well, the other problem too is that not a lot of numbers in gematria add up to these high 4-digit numbers, even in any.
Look what he has matching with manna from heaven. Little Chosen One is the manna from heaven. Look at that.
It's funny.
Chosen One and the manna.
Oh, look, Maria Abramovic is also, it's a match on both ciphers, bro. It's a match on Chaldean and Latin. Exactly.
And I mean, it's just crazy. He talks about a lot of that occult stuff. So it's not like Juan wanted his name to equal that. Juan didn't even know about gematria like this until he met me. So I promise you, he had no idea. There's an organic source code, guys, because we live in a simulation. It's all encoded through numbers. Now, 137 is the 33rd prime number. And if you take the 47 by 90 degree compass, add it up, you got that 137 number, but it's also a number of magic. I think cast the spell on the audience is 137. So yeah, man, it's a crazy one. It's a crazy one, but it's a very positive number, actually. And you know how you told me you could put a number in and then hit enter?
Yeah, I just did it right now.
But it doesn't do that on mine. Go on.
Here, so if I go in here and I put in like 1, 2, 3.
Do it on truthmafia.com.
Hit enter. Okay, let's see.
Because I've been trying to do it, dude, and it wasn't doing it. And I don't know what the hell is going on.
Gematria calculator.
Another thing you got to fix is when you're erasing the number real fast, it resets it.
It worked. It worked for me.
What the hell? What'd you hit?
I just hit the enter button.
That is bizarre, dude. I've tried.
So if the enter button's not working for you, though, you can always just click the button down there.
Here, I'm about to try it right now and see, because I don't understand why it hasn't worked for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the enter. Bam, there it goes.
Yeah, because that's a cool feature to have. Because for the new people, if they're looking for a specific code, they can just go on there and type in whatever number you're looking for, and then hit enter. No other gematria calculator does that.
Well, and especially not with multiple. So if I went in here and I wanted to see what, like, say, 47 entered in these 5 different ciphers, now I just hit it, and then look, here's all the different words, and here's all the different ciphers. They're color coded. So any 47 that shows up in this first column means that it matched 47 on Chaldean, and the same for septenary and reduction and Latin, all these. But I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of results that it's showing here right now.
Oh, yeah, it just showed me this time. That's weird. It didn't before, though, I swear. Let me see if it'll redo it again. Okay, enter. Yeah, now it's showing me. Now, why when you erase it real fast, it'll like put a bunch of words in there, just random words, and now try to erase that really fast. Keep going.
I mean, my computer is pretty damn beefed up.
Yeah,
but the answer is because it's what it's doing. If you have a whole bunch of different ciphers on at the same time, every time you change this, it's constantly rechecking all these values. So the more letters you put in here and the slower your computer is, the slower the site will start to run. That's just one of the optimizations that I need to work on.
Yeah, we got to get that fixed. And another thing we needed to do, whenever anyone puts any word in, it should be saving it to the database automatically.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
No, because our Latin would be huge by now if it did that.
No, the problem with Latin, though, is because
we got to get that Latin fixed, bro. We need that.
Well, no one's using it. It'll only save it if you actually put in Latin and then select it and then search.
Yeah, well, okay. So why can't we get it to save it even if someone just puts it in and they're not using Latin.
Oh, we can. It's just money. I mean, to run that extra feature, so it does all those extra calculations, it's just an extra number of dollars per month.
Tell me the money and I'll pay for it.
Okay, we'll figure it out after this. I could show you all the costs real time and all the feeds and everything.
All right, brother.
So, hey, I appreciate you coming on here. This was a fun one. This was a long one, but we went over like music and text and images and all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited about the next one.
Yep. Thank you, brother.
All right. See y'all. Thanks again for checking out. And I'll play us out with a little commercial. And I promise it's not the guy that you don't like.
Okay.
They said it was forbidden. They said it was dangerous. They were right. Introducing the Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual. Dive into the arcane, into the hidden corners of the occult. This isn't just a comic. It's a hidden tome of supernatural power. All original artwork illustrating the groundbreaking research of Juan Ayala, one of the only living homunculologists of our time. Learn how to summon your own homunculus, an enigma wrapped in the fabric of reality itself, their power at your fingertips, their existence, your secret. Explore the mysteries of the Aristotelian, the spiritual, the Paracelsian, the Crowleyan homunculus. Ancient knowledge lost to time, now unearthed in this forbidden tale. This comic book holds truths not meant for the light of day. Knowledge that was buried, feared, and shunned. Are you ready to uncover the hidden? The Paranoid American Homunculus Owner's Manual, not for the faint of heart. Available now from Paranoid American. Get your copy at tjojp.com or paranoidamerican.com today.